I'm live. I'm just waiting. Hello, Sarah on Instagram and Mystic Deanna. Hey, y'all. Which Acadia join? Right, I'm live on Instagram and YouTube. So far, nothing happening on YouTube. Instagram's happening faster. That's different. Hello, y'all. Hello, hi, hi, hi. Let me see if I'm following all these people. All right. Hello, whoever that is on YouTube. Uncle Birch coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube today. Because my main account on TikTok's in jail, and my main account on Facebook's in jail. So, I have many other outlets over here, so we're pretty much even. We got the same amount on Instagram as we have on YouTube. Hello over there on YouTube. Hey Donna, hey whoever that was. Wicked Witch, hello. George Phillips, how the hell are you? Sarah over here, got notified. Yeah, it seemed like Instagram's good at notifying you when I go live. Like TikTok's weird that way.
Yeah, I just got a notification.
Okay, TikTok's weird that way. You have to like set it manually. I'm sorry, I just washed my hair and I just can't do a thing with it. I hate when I wash my hair.
Me too.
It's like for the first couple days it won't settle down and it's very windy here.
Yeah.
Well, hello y'all. I'm Uncle Birch, teach witchcraft for a living, and coming to you live from New Orleans, which is what we spend most of our time talking about. We talk about whatever the hell you want. Pretty much even on. So I'm low tech here. I got two phones. Got my old phone, got my new phone. One phone I'm on Instagram, one phone I'm on YouTube. Because I haven't found a software that does multi-platform well. Restream seems to be the one that most people use. But I tried their demo product, and you know, back in the day, you made your demo product to work well so people would pay for your paid product. But since the demo product didn't work very well, I'm sure the fuck not going to pay for it. But people tell me that the paid version works pretty well. It's like, no, that's not how you do this. You got to wet their whistle a little bit. You know, you got to reel them in. Restream has not reeled me in, so I go old school. I got two phones. I never trade my phone back in. I usually save it in case, you know, my kid needs a new phone. You know, he just uses them to play games and stuff. But I always keep my phone, so I got them. So hello YouTube, hello Instagram, hello the Rogue Witch. Coming to you live from New Orleans, where it's just blowing around a bit. So the table's got well, you see the umbrella, so the whole table's kind of moving around. So no earthquakes. We're not in an earthquake country anymore. Let's see. Donna Murphy, hello. How are you over there on YouTube? So, what y'all doing? How are you? Where are you? I always like to hear where people are from and what you want to talk about. I know YouTube has or Instagram has the ability where I can bring you up live on screen with me. I'm not sure if YouTube even has that option. I haven't ever had that. If you tried StreamYard, no. I'll try and remember that one. StreamYard. Can you message me that? Just because I got to, you know, many years of weed has affected my short-term memory. Oh my God, my hair's going nuts today, dude. Seems like this week was all about candles.
Yeah.
Yes, there, you know, over on TikTok, yeah, something I said stirred up controversy, go figure. And people are still talking it. You know, a couple people block me, but you know, I've got 5 accounts, so I go and I watch anyways. Everybody's still talking about me over there. Mystic Deanna says hi, Marta.
Oh, hello.
I think you chuckled in the background, so they heard you. Texas, how you doing? How you doing? Sigrid, hey, how are you? New York State, George Phillips, all right. Another mask mandate. I saw that. New Orleans, well, we lifted did they lift the mask mandate? I don't know about.
We haven't worn a mask inside for
Yeah,
a
we haven't
while.
had to wear a mask. But I think the vaccination mandate's still on. They still card me when I go in places.
Yeah,
here.
you have to have a vaccine to get into places, but I haven't gone inside anywhere with a mask on in a while.
Yeah. I mean, people still do it. You know, I never run into a Karen here. Hey, from Canada, the Witcher of Acadia. But we got a mask mandate.
Mask
I'm
mandate.
sorry, we got a vaccine mandate. So we have to show, you know, we go into bars, restaurants, that kind of thing. You got to show your vaccine card. Both me and Marta have 3. She got Moderna, I got Pfizer, and our Sasha, our son, now has both of his. So at this point, I don't give a fuck. Everybody that had a brain, you know, got vaccinated, and the people that don't want to get vaccinated, by and large, are still, even though the guy's gone, they're psycho Trump supporters. And the death rate in the United States is soaring in red states way more than it is in blue states. So now that my kid's vaccinated, I give 0 fucks about anybody else. I've told all my people, I've, you know, preached to the choir. I'm done trying to convince them to get the vaccine because they're rabid psycho Trump supporters and they're dying off in droves. And that might be what it takes to not have that motherfucker come back and ruin the rest of the world. He's not just going to ruin our country. Thank you for the, oh, it says wants to send you a message. Okay, so I guess I got to go approve your message, Rogue Witch. I wonder why I saw it over here. I saw it on the YouTube phone, but not on the Instagram phone. That's weird. All right, anyway, I'm done trying to convince, I'm done arguing. That's one of the reasons that I keep going to Facebook jail, because I keep fucking arguing, and there's just no point. And, you know, I don't want people to die, but, you know, if the right people die, well, I guess, you know, we have to cull the herd. We came really close to living out the movie Idiocracy. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it free over here on YouTube. Idiocracy, the movie, it's funny, but after what we've been through in the United States and the effect that what we went through affected the world, it's pretty scary. Now the premise is that at some point in our past, which is actually our present now, smart people stopped reproducing. They stopped having babies because they thought about, you know, I don't have enough money to support it, you know, I can't put it through college, blah, 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 blah. But the stupid people, which tended to be, you know, redneck guy named like Bubba. He had like, you know, 67 offspring, and, you know, each of his offspring had 67 offspring, and it went on and on and on and on and on until the country was run by a former professional wrestler, like a WWF kind of wrestler, which was Terry Crews. Great part, but yeah, go watch the fucking movie. You're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be scared if you haven't seen it. But you can watch Idiocracy free on YouTube. Hey, Queen Diva, how the hell are you? We're running out of boosters in Ireland. People lining up for hours, only to be turned away. Oh my goodness. Well, I knew somebody that went to, I think, 2 different appointments to get their booster, and they got there and then they didn't have the booster shots. Didn't call her, let her drive all the way down there. I went to the same place to get my son vaccinated, and I was worried, I better not show up there and have him not have the goddamn shot. But, you know, it was fine both times. He did it like a champ. He was a little tired after the 2nd shot. That was about it. His arm was sore like the 3rd day, just a little bit.
Which is normal.
Yeah,
like his
normal.
arms are really skinny.
He's really skinny.
And
Kid just doesn't gain weight. I think he's got his father's metabolism. I could not gain weight most of my life until like my 30s. Eventually,
now you're fine.
eventually drinking a lot of beer. You know, like in the gut. It's all in the gut. The fat doesn't really spread itself around. But you know, back when I was a kid, and they forced me to play football.
No.
I was, you know, drinking raw eggs and weight gaining shakes and you name it, just nothing. You know, feed me big ass steaks, all kinds of taters, and didn't work. Well, okay, well, good for you then. Yeah, I loved the Fuddruckers bit. So Queen Diva's not getting the vax. All right, well, I hope you'll be okay. It's not a good idea. the vaccines are not experimental. I'm not listening to any bullshit because, as the other side always says, I did my fucking research. I did my research with reputable sources, science, doctors, that kind of thing. The mRNA vaccines have been in use for 30 plus years. And they were working on it for AIDS at the time that Corona came around. And the way that the mRNA vaccines work, you just tweak a little bit of it for the thing you're going after. That's why, like now, when the Omicron variant came out, they said, well, we can tweak the vaccine for that, and like if we need it, it take a couple months to tweak it. So it's an advance in science, and one of the things that nobody was specifically expecting to happen. What came about from, maybe it was a side effect, if you will, but it is actually the effect we're looking for. The mRNA vaccines are causing us to produce T cells. Now, if you've ever actually done any research, you would know that lack of T cells is what kills you from AIDS and cancer. It's one of the main things that happens, and the T cells are what, run our immune system. I think B cells too.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what B cells do, but with the mRNA vaccines, if you do the research, they accidentally probably found the cure for AIDS and cancer. The question is, in the United States, will they allow that to happen? Because they make a lot more money off of treating AIDS and cancer than they do curing it or stopping it, vaccinating for it. So it's not an experimental thing. It's fucking brilliant if you actually understand the science. It's a good thing. So if you're watching me, you should get your damn vaccine. You should get your damn vaccine. I'm totally fine with idiot Trump supporters dying off in droves because we have to cull the herd so we don't become message retracted. What are you doing, Jen? I didn't get to read your message and then you retracted it. Blah, blah. Otherwise, we could become idiocracies, and Fuddruckers will eventually become butt fuckers. Go watch the movie, you'll understand. But we got to cull the herd. Culling the herd is where you get rid of the weak, the diseased, in a herd of animals like cows and stuff. You've got to get rid of certain things so they don't infect the entire gene pool. Stupidity, psychosis is now a strong part of the gene pool, at least here in the United States, and we seem to have exported that around the world. Understanding how mRNA and PCR works is helpful with the vaccine. I'm getting my booster soon. Cool. And hey, Jen, yeah, we weren't able to do the Stay the Fuck at Home show because I'm in Facebook jail, but I think Tuesday we're going to just do it from Marta's phone and tag me on my account because I'm in Facebook jail for I think 24 more days. I called David Griffin's wife fugly. He ain't lying if it's true. I hate me some David Griffin. David Griffin, if you don't know, is the self-proclaimed leader of the Golden Dawn. He became the self-proclaimed leader by suing his way into power. He has a relative that's a lawyer, and he got to file lawsuits without having to pay anything to file the lawsuits. And the people at the Golden Dawn didn't have enough money to fight him. If it's a legitimate cure for cancer and AIDS ever existed, it would be a crime against humanity not to allow for mass healing. I know, but they would still do it. We've got a cure for cancer. We've got several cures for cancer. Other people around the world are using and having a great time, having great success with. But in the United States, they make more money not curing things. That's why, like Marta's a Chinese medicine doctor, and that's pretty much what they do is cure things, and that's why it's not taking off in the United States, not a huge form of medicine here, because we're in the business of treating and charging money constantly to take a drug for the rest of your life. Let's see, on YouTube I gotta go like this every so often. Yeah, I'm a jailbird, and I'm on my main account on TikTok's in jail too. All over the candle fiasco. You know, I went on about, I think it was calling people that bought their candles at the dollar store and Walmart cheap ass motherfuckers. But then nobody seemed to want to address the follow ups that I made in the other videos. Slave labor from China. If you buy those candles, if you're using those things for your magic, you're using a slave labor product for your magic. And there seemed to be a very lack of morals in at least a handful of the witches, at least the ones that wanted to report my video and stuff, but the majority, the vast majority of my thousands of subscribers on all of my channels agreed with that, and I've got probably about 20 people that I'm talking through, teaching them how to make their own candles, and I actually did a video on how, a little bit on how to make your own candles, but now people want me to do a whole series on making your own candles. Because that's one of the things I said. If you've got to be a cheap ass motherfucker, you can do it yourself, and your magical products will work a lot better than if you supported slave labor.
Except they accuse you of trying to push your own candles.
Yeah, yeah. Self-promotion, that was a hard thing for me to learn. So yeah, after I called them cheap-ass motherfuckers, I did suggest that they go to thelovershermeticsupply.com and get quality magical products made by magical people that know what the fuck they're doing. And I'll do that all fucking day, every day. These people that bitched at me for self-promotion, well, that's why they're doing so badly in life. They're from the school of Wicca, where it says that you cannot do magic for personal gain, which, will lead everybody to every witch to live in a cardboard box on Skid Row. Yeah, Walmart has cheap candles. That's the point. That's kind of the point. They have cheap candles, and their products tend to come from Chinese sweatshops. And somebody argued with me, said, no, they come from Mexico. And then I Googled it, and sure enough, I was able to find, a great amount of their products, all of their products, the dollar store and Walmart are made in China. And if it says made in China, 9 times out of 10, it's a sweatshop. Argue with me. This is why we're boycotting the Olympics and shit, man. That, human rights record they have. And, it's a lot of the people in their sweatshop is this ethnic minority Muslim community that they're committing mass genocide on. And the ones that they're not killing off, they're forcing into slave labor. Yay. I started using dark candles after WitchCon. My dumbass doesn't know how to make a candle. I have to go check your store too. I'd rather support other witches. Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Donna. It is laziness. One person, went off on me and says, what is it made in China? It's like, that again took me 10 seconds to find a wax manufacturer, family-owned business in Texas that makes their own wax for making candles. It's the lovershermeticsupply.com. They're Mystic Deanna over there on Instagram. So I disprove people all the time, but then that person's ultimate excuse, really, she was just very emotional and couldn't actually have a rational argument. And I know that happens with women. Well, that happens with men too, but that doesn't win the argument. That's not really how our society works. You can't go to court and cry and win your case. You can't, go yell and say, you were rude to me, and win your fucking court case. You have to have logic, reason, and evidence. So I'm sorry that that's the way that the world actually works, and that it doesn't actually function on the feelings of people. But it is what it is. Your feelings don't mean shit when you're in an argument. I have one person, when they lost the argument, they started calling me a colonizer, because one of the people that I was disagreeing with apparently was Native American. I didn't know they were Native American, but we weren't discussing anything Native American. So I jokingly said, well, maybe she should stop culturally appropriating. We're talking about European witchcraft right now on this channel. It was a joke. God damn, people don't know how to take a joke. Being right isn't rude. Yeah, but you'd be surprised. I always get that. I've always gotten that on Facebook, and I tend to will come from left field and say a thing about witchcraft that you have not heard, that your teachers may have heard but forgot about. I remember really old shit. And when self-proclaimed high priestesses don't know of what I speak, they get very upset that I know more than them. And like I always say, here, there, and everywhere, I'm sorry if you're butthurt that I know something that you don't know, but I am a teacher. If you just shut the fuck up and suck up your feelings, I'll teach it to you in a minute. You know, so I went in and I taught people how to make fucking candles. It's, you know, you can make, you know, for 21 bucks worth of supplies, you can make about 200 fucking taper candles, about 100 pillars, and about 60 double pillars. Not all of those, you know, if you're going to make one of those batches, you know, for about that amount. So cents on the dollar. And so this person's excuse, rather than not buying from slave labor, was that she doesn't have time for that. I said, well, if you don't have time for that, maybe just don't use a fucking candle. Nobody said you had to use a fucking candle. What is this, fucking Candle Magic 101? You don't have to use fucking candles. You use something else. But, you know, not using a candle is more powerful than using a candle made in a sweatshop. Try and do a fucking money spell when the person that manufactured your product is chained to a fucking table. Not gonna have a good time. My husband loves the idea of making my own witch stuff anyways. Yes, absolutely. And I don't know who's familiar with me or whatnot. I'm live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Buckland's Big Blue Book of Witchcraft. It's called The Complete Book of Witchcraft. If you do, Google Uncle Birch, you'll find my Amazon influencer page, and I have a recommended reading list there. You know, I think I get 2 cents off of each sale or some small fucking amount. But I have it on there in my recommended reading list. But with that one book, you know, if you're on a budget, you're having a hard time, you're getting started in witchcraft, you get that one book. It'll teach you most of the basics that are accepted in witchcraft and Wicca, and teach you how to DIY, do it yourself. You can make your own athame, he'll teach you how. You make your own wand, teach you how. Make your own robe, teach you how. Shows you how to build a fucking altar. Make an altar. You want to make your own ritual wine. You want to make your own ritual ale. It's there. Incense, oils, you fucking got it. That one book, teach you all your basic, you know, intro level stuff and teach you how to do most of that stuff yourself. And even though I'm selling, you know, products at thelovershermeticsupply.com, yeah, I'm not going to bullshit around. If you did it yourself, even though having us make your magical products is a great bunch of energy to have on your magical products. If you made it yourself, it would work better. It has your energy, your creative energy. Hey, Vicky Mom, how are you? DIY, man. It'll work better. You do cents on the dollar. I can make you a kick-ass gallon of magical oil for under $3 on the average, depending on what it is, you know. But huge gallon fucking oil. So imagine how much it would cost you to make, you know, a couple bottles of oil. You know, you would have to take a penny and hack it into pieces for you to see how much that's going to cost you. So people called me classist. I said, no, I'm not classist, I'm real. I'm not saying you have to buy expensive products, but rather than buy slave labor products for your magic, maybe do it yourself. And then this one college girl, all up in her feelings, like that matters in a fucking argument, that was her ultimate final excuse. I don't have the time to do that. It's like, okay. So, it's give me convenience or give me death, basically. You know, I don't have the time to not support slavery. You know, we got all these people going on about, you know, cultural appropriation, you know, everybody's woke and trying to, you know, respect the rights of people of color and all that, and those are all good things, but then we got people supporting actual fucking slavery with their magic. And I had to argue about this for 3 days on TikTok, and then get my main account in TikTok jail till I think like the 17th, because people were butthurt because I fed them some facts. I'm Uncle Birch. I teach witchcraft. I'm known for feeding uncomfortable facts to people and pissing off the status quo. I've been pissing off the status quo for 40 plus years. Matter of fact, I was pissing off the status quo in my parent tradition when I was 13 years old, and I butted my heads with my high priest all the time. They tried to make rules that were way overreaching, that gave a high priest too much power, and it would say on the end of the rule, they would say the high priest has the absolute authority to do the thing, and none may say him nay. My anarchist ass fought that tooth and nail every way that I could, and then as time moves on, my elders drop like flies. Now I am the uber high priest of the Druidic craft of the wise, at least in the southern Gulf area region of the United States. There is none above me. From my parent tradition back home in California, there is nobody above me anymore. So, none may say me nay. From beyond the grave, I hope that they can see now how that kind of shit bites you in the ass. So one of the things that they said that the high priest could do is that the high priest got to decide what is a secret in the craft. What secrets of that craft can be released to the public. The high priest gets to decide that, and none may say him nay. So I did that. My parent tradition, the other half of my parent tradition, which is not recognized by my West Coast parent tradition, the Appalachian version of the Druidic craft of the wise, still run by a Cherokee woman. They believe that the three keys of magic are a third degree secret. Now I teach the three keys of magic. You can find that here on YouTube. You can find that over there on TikTok. You're definitely going to find that if you take any of my classes. Your magic's not going to work without the three keys of magic. Why would you hold that out to be a third degree secret when nobody's magic's going to work and nobody's going to reach the third degree because shit doesn't happen? It's a dumb idea. So I teach it. I teach it in the first class of the intro. Now, speaking of which, I have 5 year-in-a-day courses going on right now on level 1. Level 2, I have 2 going on. My next level 1 Witch School year-in-a-day course will be called Witch School Level 1, January 2022. Got to sign up for the right class. But you get over there to gumroad.com/witch school. That, of course, is WITCHSKEWL. If one of you could type that in there, throw it up on the screens, that'd be great, because I can't do that. But gumroad.com/witch school. You've got to wait till January 1st, but if you go there, you set up an account, you follow me, and when I launch that class, January 1st, I'll send out a notification to everybody that's following me, and then you can just go join the class. It's just like this. I literally shot it, actually off of this phone. A little of both. I think I shot most of it on this phone, and then the tail end of the class was when I got my newer phone. Class actually starts when we're living in Hollywood, and the probably the last quarter of the class is right here in New Orleans. So you get to travel with me through my life, through this class, but have a great amount of success. People say wonderful things. I had plenty of my students out there defending me in this recent dust up on TikTok, and we have a good time. It's easy to take. You just sit there. You can take it from your phone. There's some PDFs too, and you can read the PDFs, but you don't have to be anywhere at a particular time. You take it at your own speed. Matter of fact, I started my correspondence course over here on YouTube about, 7 years ago. And that course I bundled. So now that course, the large bundled course, you can find at gumroad.com/witch school. You can take the year-in-a-day course that I taught about 7 years ago, all at once. You can download the whole course and binge watch the damn thing and not spend a year and a day studying magic. That's not how I would do it, but that's how the millennials want to do it. So you got to give the people what they want. So I got that class. Where was I even going? So I started that over here on YouTube. And from the class 7 years ago, in this last year, I have 3 students that popped up out of nowhere and started turning in homework. I had to go look them up on the voter rolls. So it's like, low pressure is basically what I'm trying to say. There's not a lot of pressure. You take it at your speed. You turn in your homework at your speed. It's $35 a month for a year, and teach a lot of witches. I fully intend to change TikTok completely when my 50 plus class of TikTok witches finishes their course and takes to TikTok, we'll at least have 50 plus people that know what the fuck they're talking about with regards to witchcraft on TikTok, and that will bump it up to, I don't know, 70 total on TikTok. Oh, shut up, Lauren Boebert. Get off my fucking notifications. Fuck cunt. Uncle Birch, coming to you live from New Orleans. What was that junk? Yeah, I don't know, Donna. I think that person alluded to using magic on me. They denied that that's what they were alluding to, but I think that's what they were alluding to. And not a peep, not a peep. Everything's going fine over here. So if that's the best they could come up with, they should probably take my class, because yeah, magical warfare is part of the class. Defense magic's part of the class. Candle making's part of the class. Actually, brewing shop class, or shop magic, starting your own shop and how to do it yourself and make your products yourself for pennies on the dollar is part of the level 1 witch school course. I give away some of my trade secrets and actually a couple of my recipes too. Well, hello, all you people joining over here. Jenny Norman, you're on both? That's got to be confusing, because you're over here. Now you're over here. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere. She's Jen. Mika Rose, hello. I'm coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube. I don't know why you procrastinate. You need a... I used to procrastinate, and I remember one of the things that helped me, I needed a drill sergeant to fucking, yell at me and call me a maggot first thing in the morning. And I recorded the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket in one of his epic rants and made that my alarm ringtone for quite some time. And that sure got me out of bed. And before that, it was Conan the Barbarian, see your enemies driven before you and the lamentation of their women line. That was an alarm ringtone. That helped get me out of bed too. And before that was Death Clock's Awaken. That's good motivating. But JD, you're over here on YouTube. Maybe you should, over here on YouTube, you can watch my Mind Control 101 series. I think there's 2 or 3 of them, but it's how to control your own mind. Most of us are programmed. All of us really are programmed, and we're programmed by the media, our parents, and a bunch of things that are not good for us and bent on our demise. And it behooves us to learn how to code our brains, reprogram that shit. Oh, thank you. I've worked hard on pronouncing Appalachia appropriately. I mean, technically that's where my parent tradition comes from, but there's the Appalachian version, and then there's the West Coast version, and the West Coast version disavows the Appalachian version. The Appalachian version disavows the West Coast version. But I once, under an assumed name, took a correspondence course similar to mine, but it was like all in print, with the high priestess, who's she's Cherokee, I believe, of the Druidic Craft of the Wise in Appalachia. And I found it's the exact same system, teaching the exact same things. These guys say, oh, they don't have the real magic. And these guys say, oh, they don't have the real magic. But I'm here to tell you it's the same fucking thing, man. But I took that under an assumed name. And when she invited me to come to the Appalachias and become initiated as a high priest, if I could answer these questions 3, what are the 3 keys of magic? I ceased contact with that person because I teach the three keys of magic as a beginning thing, because I don't think that anybody's magic's going to work without the three keys of magic. Matter of fact, I have a whole standalone video on YouTube. I have it on TikTok. I think I posted that to Instagram. I teach the three keys of magic immediately. I mean, who's going to keep studying magic if the shit don't work? Without the three keys, it's not going to work. Uh, JD's asking, do you think I should sign up for something military related for their discipline tactics? I would not recommend that. I was 2 steps away from joining the military. All my friends were in the military, and my friend was a Marine, and he was on leave, and he fell asleep in the sun and got kind of like a 3rd-degree sunburn. And when he returned to base, they arrested him for damaging government property. That was a game changer for me. They don't tell you that. I know plenty of people that have been in the military that did not know that, because they don't have to tell you that. They don't have to tell you the truth. Anybody ever see like Private Benjamin, where the recruiter said, "Oh yes, you'll have your own private room and a spa and a sauna and all this shit." And it's like, you don't get any of that shit, but they can lie to you. The recruiters can lie through their fucking teeth. Yes, you're going to get $1 million a year and a free Ferrari. Sign here. There's no one to hold them accountable. So they don't tell people that when you join the military, for your allotted time in the military, you are now government property. That ruined it for me. I went and became a cop instead. I said, okay, I'll serve my country in a different way than that. But I wonder now, after talking to all my military friends that didn't know that, how many people of color know that? How many people of color join the military knowing that for their, at least 8 years, and usually the first 2 don't count, that's the catch-22, for at least 8 years, they're going to be government property? How many people of color would have willingly done that? I mean, I understand a lot of people join because they have to. There's no way they can afford school, and there's no jobs where they are. Some people want to serve their country. Some people want to develop discipline, that kind of stuff. I would say maybe a military-style class or something like that, JD. But it's a hell of a commitment just to learn how to not procrastinate, to sell yourself into slavery for 8 years. That's basically it. So that I'm sure glad that happened. I'm sure glad my friend had his sunburn, so I could learn and not become government property. I mean, as an anarchist, no way. I still am, but no way I'm signing up for that, man. No way. Yeah, that's I'd do something like that maybe. I mean, something like that. There's that's kind of the reason drill instructors do what they do. That's kind of like what some people need to get their asses moving. You need somebody to yell at you. Also, JD, there's a book called Urban Primitive. An Urban Primitive, they have three urban goddesses and 3 urban gods, which we would probably call egregores, but they're actually considered god forms created by humans. And one of those on the male side is Sarge, who's a drill sergeant, and his job as an urban god is to yell at you and call you a maggot and shit and get you over that fucking hill. Might be a cool book to check out. I'm pretty sure if you check out my Amazon influencer page, if you just Google Uncle Birch, you'll find it. I'm pretty sure that book is on the list. Your stepdad's a drill sergeant. Yeah, well, there's a real need for that behavior. Your drill sergeants don't just act like drill sergeants because they're assholes. That asshole behavior is necessary for many individuals, especially, if you got to charge into battle or something like that, you need somebody behind you yelling at you like that to get you to climb over the trench and get shit to happen. So I understand the psychology behind it, but the becoming government property thing, that ruined it for me. I saw a guy the other day, he fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was not your typical veteran. He didn't say, thank me for your freedom. He said, I didn't fight for your freedom. I fought for oil. And he said, nobody's fought for your freedom since World War II. And, well, damn if that isn't a hell of a point to look at. Support the troops. Thank you for your service. All that. I do not agree with that line. Really, thank a veteran for your freedom. I will thank a World War II veteran for my freedom. Every other veteran was fighting for oil. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It wasn't, but the oil that you fought for helps our freedom somehow. Because we're dependent on oil. Maybe we just shouldn't be dependent on oil, and then we wouldn't have to send our sons and daughters to fight in senseless fucking wars for oil. Even now, if we go to support Ukraine, it'll be in hopes of getting some Ukrainian oil or something. I'm sure. Jen, you're back and forth. Now you're over here. That's what my brother said after 3 tours. He fought for oil. Yeah, it was. I haven't seen a lot of veterans say anything like that. So this one veteran said that, and I went, well, that's the point. That's the point. I'm sorry, that not a lot of people want to hear that, but that's the point. Fighting for our freedom hasn't been done. There was only one person ever. It literally was coming for our freedom. Adolf Hitler would have taken over the world and taken over our freedoms. Yeah, him, Mussolini, all of them. Yeah, they would have done that. That's what fascism does. Every other one's been, cloaked in patriotism and, done for good things, and we're helping the children and blah, 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 blah. In reality, it's about fucking oil. And if we don't need oil, we could get off of oil. It's not that hard. We just have these dinosaurs in the Republican Party just don't want to let go of something that's going to run out. And Stalin was a big threat. I don't think Stalin was a threat of taking over the world. Stalin was a big threat of taking over, Eastern Europe. But yeah, Stalin was probably, worse than Hitler. They're both, sending people to fucking, sending the Jews to concentration camps and all that. But he was our ally, so we had to play nice, But yeah, Stalin was a motherfucker. But that was a war for freedom. If originally we went, it would have taken a long time to get over here. We went to fight for the freedom of the British and the French and that kind of thing because they were our allies. And but then the other half of the war was fighting Japan because they pissed us off. And Japan, they would have taken our freedom if they could. It's just a long boat ride. At any rate, I don't know how we're talking about wars and oils and stuff like that, but hey, I'm Uncle Birch. I teach witchcraft for a living, and that's not what we've been talking about right now, but we could if you ask questions about that kind of thing. We're coming to you live on YouTube and Instagram simultaneously on 2 separate devices. Yeah, they both were allies first. Yeah, that would have been, if they had stayed allies, that would have been horrific. Hitler, absolutely. Yes, Hitler forgot to read the history books. What happened to Hitler is exactly what happened to, short guy, Napoleon. Exactly. Yeah, don't go into fucking Russia anywhere near winter. Now, there's this other thing. Since we're talking about war, and I need to bring it back around to witchcraft, there was this thing that happened. The witches in England had organized for every coven in England to meet on a certain night and do a mass spell to shield England from Hitler, to keep Hitler from being able to land on England's shores. Now, after they did that, Hitler went flying into Russia because, as JD over here said, he didn't study his history. He still probably could pull it off. It was, you know, he had a good 3 months, but something happened. Winter arrived 3 months early. A Russian winter arrived 3 months early. Now, I give the witches some of the credit for that. The witches did a thing, Mother Nature did a thing, and that thing helped stop fucking Hitler. But exactly what JD said is that it's exactly the same mistake that Napoleon made. You know, in the stories of Napoleon, they talked about the Russians just locked their fucking doors and barricaded their doors, and the French soldiers were out there just dying in the fucking Russian cold.
Yep.
And they just no, fuck you, no, not dealing with you. You'll be dead in a couple of fucking hours. We know how to live through this shit. But yeah, you're from fucking France, bitch. You ain't gonna make it. So yeah, Hitler did not study his history. And the Russians were totally equipped for that. They're made for that type of weather. Hitler's tanks were stuck in the fucking Russian mud and shit, and the Russian tanks were made to fucking fly right across that mud. Matter of fact, I remember this. I remember a movie. I think it was the Siege of Stalingrad. There was a lake right next to Stalingrad, and the Russians built a fucking, like, overnight, built a makeshift fucking railroad across the frozen lake. A railroad and a road, and there's scenes of, as this lake is thawing, there's still trains going across this track, and the ice is breaking, and the trucks are going through, sloshing through fucking water, and they managed. Hitler thought he had Stalingrad cut off. It was like, oh, well, there's a fucking lake there. What are they gonna do with the fucking lake? But he hadn't thought about that whole winter thing. So the lake's frozen, bitch. They can just drive supplies right across that. So probably one of the reasons it was so hard to fucking take Stalingrad is they were able to supply it from the flank. But I managed to take that and, turn it around to the witchcraft discussion. I've always thought that the thing the witches did in England, and then the reaction that we got from Mother Nature bringing winter a couple months early, helped greatly in that. But like JD said, he just didn't study his fucking history. Napoleon sure fucking did, and he should have thought of that. East and west, though, yes. Hello, Pandora the Box over there on Instagram. We're coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously on 2 separate devices. I am Uncle Birch. I teach witchcraft for a living, and we're coming to you live from New Orleans, where somebody that teaches witchcraft for a living should be. Sorry, I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. It's blowing all over the fucking place. I hate that first day after I wash my hair. Yes, actually, that is an interesting point, JD. The mass organization of witches to cast a spell to stop Hitler from being able to invade England was actually organized by the English government. So now, witchcraft was illegal, but the government knew where all the witches were. So they sent out an ambassador to the different witchcraft covens, and the government actually organized the witches to do this thing. So the government was fighting this on all fronts, but that, if once we read our history, that was absolutely important to do, because Hitler was using magic as much as he was using tanks. He was obsessed with the occult. Himmler got him into that thing. Y'all have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? And the whole Nazis, there's a lot of truth to that. The Nazis invented archaeology. They were the first archaeologists, and the reason why is probably Ark of the Covenant if they could have got it. But Hitler was obsessed with the 5 treasures of the Tuatha Danann, which would be Lu's sword, Lu's spear, the cauldron of Caradwyn, the Holy Grail, and one other thing, I'm forgetting what that was. But so Lu's spear, it's alleged that the Nazis actually found that. And back engineering that is how the Nazis came up with the rocket. Because legend has it, if Lu would throw his spear and would take out legions of enemy combatants on the field and then return to his hand, like what we would call a guided missile. So sometimes, you know, these mystical things that the old people were talking about could have been technology, and maybe the ancient alien people were right about some shit. But then Lu's sword we would call Excalibur. That's where Excalibur came from. It was Lu's mystical sword. But Hitler was obsessed with these mystical, ancient mystical weapons of war, in addition to having really good tanks and shit. So it was necessary for the government of England to organize the witches to work against them. But that thing. And then the other interesting thing with that, so while witchcraft was illegal, the last person convicted of witchcraft was during World War II. And she actually wasn't a witch, she was a medium. And this medium had channeled, for lack of a better word, a soldier that had died on a top secret military vessel. And as such, she had access to information about the top secret military vessel. She was immediately rounded up and put away until after the war. And then, you know, about, I don't know, 10, 20 years after the war, they took the last of the laws against witchcraft off of the legal books in England. John Dee, absolutely. John Dee worked for the Queen. John Dee probably knew where the witches were. John Dee's a classic example of that witches and magicians have always worked behind the scenes for all people of power up to the present day. Even we heard of you know, Reagan and his wife had an astrologer. I think the Clintons had an astrologer. Everybody had a wizard or a witch working behind the scenes, and John Dee was able to complete some of the greatest works in the occult to this day because he was afforded the time to sit around and study constantly, because he had the Queen's money, the Queen's jewels to do so. And people in power use magic themselves. I can't remember the first Roman emperor to declare magic illegal. But that Roman emperor had a magician in his court, and he was making it illegal, so he would be the only one to have the magic. And that's pretty much historically everywhere where that happened. It was so they could have the magic. We go all the way back to the Bible, the story of King Saul. Witchcraft was illegal, and you were put to death for practicing witchcraft at that time. And King Saul was the person that put that law together. And they were persecuting witches pretty readily. But then Saul had a problem one day. His priests could no longer conjure the spirit of Samael, a familiar spirit associated with him that would advise him on things. They were doing all the regular rituals, and it just wouldn't work for some reason. So King Saul needed some help, and who did he seek out? The wise old woman of Endor. Now, wise, if you don't know, is a code word in the Bible that means witch, sorcerer, mystic, that kind of thing. Some other Bible translations call her the Witch of Endor. So while he was persecuting witches, he knew where the main uber witch lived, and he went on a pilgrimage to see her. Not persecute her, not burn her at the stake, but seek out her counsel and cross her palms with silver. He did so. She did a thing. She conjured the spirit of Samael, which his priests could no longer do. Samael popped right up, and you know, it's biblical speak, so I'm gonna paraphrase. He said, yeah, I'm here. I didn't wanna show up. I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. I didn't want to have to tell King Saul bad news, so I just didn't show up when they conjured me. And she says, well, okay, well, you're here now. What's the bad news? She said, well, sorry, Saul, you're going to die in that battle tomorrow. You're going to die on the battlefield. I'm sorry, I didn't want to tell you that. Didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry about that, bro. So I just didn't want to show up. Didn't want to be the one to break that to you. So sure enough, next day, Saul's dead on the fucking battlefield. So not only could the wise old woman of Endor do what his priest could not, Saul knew exactly where she was, and when push came to shove, sought her out for help. This is always the way. And was it, I don't know if it was Constantine. I don't think it was Constantine. The Roman before that. There's a period where the Rome goes back and forth from pagan to Christian. A couple times they flipped the script, and each time, you know, once it become Christian, the Christians would try and commit mass genocide on the pagans, and then it flipped back to pagan, and then the pagans tried to commit mass genocide on the Christians, and then eventually it eventually stuck and became the, you know, Holy Roman Church or whatever. Appalachian Mountain Girl. All right, hey, you got your old name over here. I forget what you're called now. Farrell? Farrell Mountain Girl or something like. We was just talking about the Appalachians. Oh my God, you missed it. We were talking about how my parent tradition is up in the Appalachians, the East Coast version, the Druidic Craft of the Wise, and now we're talking about the history of magic and warfare. I don't know how we got on this subject. We just kind of go all over the fucking place. Farrell Mountain Woman, that's it. Yep. Yeah, my main account's in TikTok jail right now for the candle hubbub. So I'm here on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. Got a lot more people on YouTube than I do on Instagram, but over the years I never paid any attention to my Instagram, and only since TikTok started fucking around did I start beefing up my Instagram. So I think I'm only at like 500 or 400 and something people, and then still closing in on 10,000 on YouTube, but you know, that's taken 10 fucking years. I lost my account on TikTok of 65,000 followers because the Christians organized to report me. Now I'm in TikTok jail on my main account because a bunch of witches got butt hurt and up in their feelings and shit. Maybe because I call them cheap ass motherfuckers and they want to support slave labor, but I don't know. I feel justified. Do you know where I can find the story about Gardner's Coven and Hitler? There's a book called Lammas Night. It's a novelized version of it. But you should just be able to Google the story of the witches of England in World War I doing a mass spell. I don't know, you just got to figure out how to word it. But it was, Gardner's Coven gets all the credit, but Gardner's Coven wasn't the only thing. So nowadays, British traditional witches want you to believe that Gardner was the only thing, but unless Gardner was lying, that is not the case, because what Gardner said was after the publication of his first book, which he published because he believed that the New Forest witches were the last of their kind to survive the times of persecution, he was contacted by other covens all over England who also believed that they were the last of their kind alive. So unless the British traditional witches want to call Gardner and Buckland liars, there were other covens existing in England that had no association with the New Forest witches or what would later become Wicca. Looking over here on YouTube, I gotta hit the thing every so often so I can see. Mirror shields for a child that's being bullied in school. I would go over here to YouTube and watch my psychic self-defense shields up.
I would go over here to Marta and see how she dealt with it.
Yeah, we don't want to. Don't do it how Marta dealt with it. You might end up in jail. But it was the right thing to do. But the shielding, the transformation shielding thing that I teach over here, that would be the way that I do it, because mirroring is just going to keep the bullying in play. It's going to bounce back and forth, bounce back and forth. It actually builds up momentum. Mirroring's not the best idea most of the time, but transformation is kind of like being a psychic vampire in a way. You're sucking off of the bullies, and all of that angst that the bully has is bleeding off of them, and it's transforming at your child into, you transform it into whatever you want. I would transform it into personal power and confidence. And so all of the energy the bully's throwing out hits the shield of the child, gets transformed into personal power and consciousness, and is absorbed by the child. That's what I would do. Let's see, did I miss anything over here? My Christian cousin won't even speak to me. That's probably best. I don't know, I still follow the portions of Raven Grimassi's Gospel of Aradia, and one of the last things she said is that we cannot share our religion with Christians, for they have never been known to be reasonable people, and they always move against us. And it's depressing, but not all Christians, of course, but churches, they always do. They always do. Wade McMorgan, how the fuck are you? My hair looks amazing. No, it doesn't. I just washed it and it's driving me crazy.
Everybody says that to me when I wash my hair. Like, your hair looks great. And I'm
I
like,
hate
no.
when I wash my hair. That's why I don't wash it. It sticks in place when I don't wash it. It's always just blowing around. I can't get this fucking thing out of my face. But thank you. Lunar Honey, how the fuck are you? Your poor bruised up face. It's doing great. I mean, look at, this is a week and a day from when my whole side of my face was mangled from my face slide on Bourbon Street like a fucking tourist. And I still have, I had a couple people, I have a political channel on TikTok too called Feel Free 13. And I tagged MAGA and Trump there, so I get all the Trump supporters. And they got to go for the low-hanging fruit. And a bunch of, it looked like your face, looked like your sister beat you up. And I said, no, your mom likes rough sex. And then the next guy goes, what happened to your face? You probably got beat up by the Proud Boys. I said, yeah, but you know what? I'm still prettier than you. And even when I had the full scabs all over my face, I was still prettier than him. So
you didn't tell him that your wife didn't like your sandwich?
I said that on, where did I say that? I think I said that on TikTok when I first went on there. Yeah, that was Marta was saying, tell him that Marta didn't like the sandwich I made for her. I still think Marta roofied me. I don't get that drunk. I've never fallen down. I slipped. There's like all kinds of holes and shit on Bourbon Street, and I guess I wasn't looking and just fucking slipped on something. And I don't know how I didn't block my face. I think I had my phone in my hand. I was like, you know what? Face is going to heal. Save the phone! It just looks like, hit and slid a couple feet. And then, and of course that always happens to the tourists. And
all the concerned
all the people go, you guys okay? Yeah, the concerned drunks were all, you okay? I do that all the time. I've made a joke about fucking their dad. Yeah, I've done that too. I did that to a couple people. I go, oh, honey, come on. You know you want me. I get all, then they get all up in their homophobics. Hey, I forget, that guy was going on and on. I said smoochies and XO at him, and he just kept getting more and more and more upset. I don't know who the person's called on TikTok. Wade, you'd probably fucking love it. Everybody love it. But there's this drag queen on TikTok that does this thing about messages she gets from men in her DMs because they think she's a woman. And it's always really funny. It always tends to be really conservative dudes. And then they, because she looks, or he, I'm sorry, he's not drag queen, it's a he. It looks like all 50s. It's like a 50s style, and so they like that because, it's like when America was great again, that kind of shit. And then, late in the conversation, she always drops on him and says, well, just somebody was like talking about her, I want to eat your kitty. And he says, but he didn't say kitty. And says, well, but I have a penis. It's like, but I'm a man. And then they just go off and yell. It's some of the funniest shit. If anybody knows who that creator is, tell Wade. It's somebody I follow on my account, but it's some hilarious shit. And then the other guy, lessons in not crossing a gay man. He's fucking great. That dude's fucking hilarious. But it's true. There's some vicious motherfuckers. Like my friend Christian Day, people get all like pissed off at him because he's he's mean and he's a cunt. And they'll tell me that. I said, yeah. Is this like the only gay guy you know? Really? Because most of them I know, when push comes to shove, yeah, there's cunts. There's some of the vicious motherfucking petty motherfucking cunts you ever going to run into. And I find it actually charming, when he gets up in somebody's grill and they're all pissed off at him. Just the petty, deep cutting slights that a gay man will come up with. It's just charming. The Instagram froze. Am I frozen? I'm getting all kind of likes over here on Instagram. All right, maybe it froze for you, but it looks like it's working over here. Supreme Being 4209, hello, how are you? Uncle Birch coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time on 2 different devices, so I will just be jumping back and forth like this. I love him. He can really slice and dice, though. Yes, that's what I like about the guy. Not frozen. Okay, thank you. It goes back and forth. You know, I'm on the extender for my internet, and sometimes having 2 devices running, you know, uses up too much. Hey, Azzy, what are you doing? Oh, you're not gonna come over here. Okay. D. Lamore, hello. Supreme Being, doing good. All right, good. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans on Instagram and YouTube. God, we've just been talking about random shit. You know, very few like questions about witchcraft, but I've managed to turn a lot of these conversations to being about witchcraft. The account is _mayhem_ensued. Cool. Donna, is that the Never Cross a Gay Man, or is that the drag queen who has conservative men up in his DMs? God, I keep wanting to say her. I mean, it's a really good drag queen. You know, I've got friends that are drag queens, and a lot of them don't look like women. Don't get mad at me. Just saying, it's like kind of like a cartoon, over the top, woman on steroids kind of thing that some of them do.
A lot of them are going for.
Yeah, but this, I mean, well, this guy's really is a beautiful guy. I've seen him because he doesn't have makeup on all the time, just fucking cute as fuck. And I'm not gay, but as a woman, she's really like a beautiful, like 50s woman, like 50s hair, 50s clothes, that kind of stuff. Looks really good. Looks like a woman. But so she gets, or he gets conservative men hitting on him, and it's just funny. They go back. He said this, I said that, and they go back and forth, and then they get all butthurt when they find out he has a penis. So Donna, is that the drag queen, or is that the do not lessons in not crossing a gay man? What's the difference between witchcraft and ceremonial magic? Stuff and things. Ceremonial magic requires a lot more stuff and specific stuff, and you can't deviate from that stuff. It's more stringent and harder to, it's not as malleable to work into actual situations as witchcraft, so it's more stuffy, I guess. Okay, so, _mayhem_ensued is the drag queen. All right. Anybody know the lessons in not crossing a gay man, who that is? Because that's a great account. And we got witchcraft questions all of a sudden over here. Best way to create a shield that does not wear you out energetically within the first hour. Again, if you go over here to YouTube, now, okay, if you got the money, then you can go to gumroad.com/witchschool, WITCHSKEWL. The class you want there is, spiritual warfare, feeding on your enemies, which shows us how to transform energy. Then over here on YouTube, if you don't have the money, you can figure it out if you're crafty. I have a thing called Psychic Self-Defense Shields Up, and that may lead you to other pages where I teach you how to do the transformation thing in a scaled down version than the one you pay for. Of course, the one you pay for is gonna, more details and, work better, that kind of thing. But over here on YouTube, I show how to take that transformation sigil that we come up with and turn it into an actual shield system. So if you have actual enemies, they constantly become weaker and you become stronger. It's guerrilla warfare in magic, basically. So, basically it's don't cross a gay man is the lessons in not crossing a gay man. He's really funny, and I hope it's I hope some of his stories are true, because he runs into Karens all the time and cuts them down like a gay man would. I'm surprised that more witches don't consider bewitching their glasses. At least those witches who wear them. Ooh, well, Wade. I'm sorry, Mac Morgan. You've got a channel here, man. Why don't you do a thing about that? I haven't heard of anybody tricking their glasses. I can figure out how to do it right away, immediately when you say it, but that's just me coming up with it in my witch brain. I haven't seen anybody do any magic like that, but it's totally doable, and glass will absorb that kind of energy, so yeah. But what if you don't want to feed on others? You can ground it, have a grounding shield. Once you create your shield, like anything else, like where you take a root and speak to it and tell it what to do, everything in magic, we're going to tell it what specific aspect we're calling on. We're going to tell our shield, say, hey, look, any of this negativity crap come at me, ground this shit. Ground it out. I don't even want to feel it. I don't want to deal with it. Just ground it. And then you get good at it like I do it over here on YouTube. You do it long enough, then you can, ditch the whole ritual. And all I got to do is remember before I fall asleep, go, shields up. I evoke my inner Picard. And I say, shields up.
Goes down.
Make it so. But, there have been times when, I don't typically fall down on Bourbon Street, but, I do get kind of, I'll get drunk and maybe fall asleep too quick to do that. So over time, I program my shields. Hey, look, if I forget to tell you shields up, the moment I slip out of consciousness, shields up. Auto shields up. Automatic red alert. You program your shit.
In this day and age, everything can have a timer.
Jen over here wants to know about, well, and actually Jen's over here too. Jen, on both formats, she wants to know about tricking her glasses, Wade. So get on that, man. Hungry minds want to know. Do you ever use the lesser pentagram ritual with the invoking pentagrams? I know the ritual is often used for banishing. Yeah, well, see, George, that's where they fuck up. I got a video over here, and people are all shocked. They couldn't believe I said, oh my God, where'd you come up with so wise shit? It's like, because I remember old shit, where I said, when you banish, you must invoke. It's a law of nature. When you banish, you must invoke. If you banish something out of your existence, like a negativity or a curse or something like that, nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not put something in that hole where that thing used to be, nature will put back what she's used to having there in a couple days. And you'll have the curse back or whatever. When you banish, you must invoke. If you look at the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram in its, in its classic phase, you go one time counterclockwise around the circle, doing a banishing earth pentagram at each of the quarters. That's the banishing. See, I think the name is the problem, because only the smallest portion of the ritual is about banishing. That's counterclockwise once around the circle with a banishing earth pentagram in each quarter. I'm sure that's probably backwards on the fucking camera. But then right after that, then we do the invoking portion. And they're done together all the time. You don't do the banishing portion of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram without doing the invoking portion. So the ceremonialists know of what I speak, and it's right there in the ritual. It's just not overtly explained like I did. So there's one movement of banishing everything, and then several movements of invoking everything, and a specific pentagram in each quarter. And I think you probably know, I know I've known you for a while, George, but over here on YouTube, I have the Big A pentagram method because it apparently became too difficult for Wiccans to remember how to trace 4 different pentagrams 4 different ways for the 4 quarters. And I came up with this method called the Big A pentagram method. So if you've ever had a problem remembering how to do that, you get over here to YouTube, you watch the Big A pentagram method, and I guarantee you will not forget that shit again. Something about the way I phrase the thing, using the anarchy A to drive my message home somehow sticks in the mind. So things that have perplexed witches for generations with regard to that ritual are fixed by that one ritual right over there. I'm gonna go grab me a beverage. Do you want
I need the charger.
Oh, the charger right here. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna break her off some of that charger.
Okay, thank you. you.
Break you off a piece of that charger. Alright, motherfucker, now I'm all crooked. Now I'm like the villains in the old Batman. Alright, I'm gonna go grab a beverage and I'll be right back.
Do you have any more coffee?
Yes, you want more Baileys in it?
Of course.
What hound? The damn hound. What other dog?
Thank you.
Now when I go in the house, I hear the news. Anybody out there been affected by these tornadoes that happen? I don't know much about tornadoes, but I don't think I've ever heard a death toll that high from fucking tornadoes, man. It sounds pretty crazy. Today is Terrapin Hobsecutioner IPA. I believe it's a local brew.
And you're wearing flip-flops.
Actually, Georgia.
Wearing flip-flops.
Yes.
Your slippers are coming soon.
I know.
Wear
I'm
'em with
see
your
because I
warm
can't wear my
socks.
slippers. So yeah.
No.
Oh, fuck you, spam. There we go. Actually, yeah, not local, from Georgia, but you know, unfortunately, right next door. So, what do we invoke after banishing? Well, for a typical purpose, like what I described, like let's say, you know, you removed a curse from your life. Well, what kinds of things was that curse keeping you from? Happiness, prosperity, good luck. These are the kinds of things I would invoke. You're getting negativity out of your house. Well, I want, you know, positivity. I want happiness. I want joy, peace. These kinds of things. When you banish, you must invoke, though. Yeah. Now we use this rule in a lot of ways. Like in the classic no sound. Is there no sound? Can you hear me? Over here on fucking Instagram. But I'm waiting to see. Because somebody called me on there and I wonder if it screwed up the sound. Instagram people, can you hear me? Oh dear. Not on Instagram. Really? Alright. Alright, I'm stopping Instagram and restarting it. Okay, sorry people, I'm pressing buttons here. And then I'm going like this, and then I'm going like this, and then I'm going like this. And we're checking the connection. Wow. Okay, so I guess on Instagram I have to turn it on Do Not Disturb or something. Alright, now they're telling my followers that I'm live. What the hell was I talking about? Somebody asked a question over here. I got that. They were near Lavola. Oh, they were near Lavola, honey. But
Yeah,
she's okay.
I know that.
Okay.
She's in one of the states.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's okay. Okay, hello, you people. Okay, so apparently if somebody calls me, it screws up. Attitude Caffeinated, hello. We just got back on the live because my live got muted because some spam call came in on my damn phone. Wow, that's weird. All right, well, you know, it's a good thing that call happened because then I rebooted Instagram and I've got twice as many people as I had there before. So, okay, cool. So Uncle Birch coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube right now. Originally, the Golden Dawn referred it simply as the Lesser Pentagram Ritual. See, now that was good. Well, it is uh, penta, the Lesser Pentagram Ritual, but the smallest portion of the ritual is about banishing fucking idiot. I mean, now after the ritual, you do banishing again, and you don't invoke again. But then you're gonna invoke again next time you do the circle. So I guess that's one time that you banish and don't specifically invoke. So it's a banish, an invoke, and then a banish at the end of it. Best way to find your guide. I do a sigil. Now, that's what I was going to talk about before. When we were talking about when you banish, you must invoke, we are forcing, we're using a law of nature. And we also use that same law of nature in some chaos magic. When we do the standard sigil magic, we make a sigil of something we want to occur. We put a lot of energy into that sigil. Now, when we do that, we create the counterpart of that sigil. Paused. Okay, now we're back. When we put a lot of energy into that sigil, we build the counterpart of that sigil on the astral plane. Once this exists up here, wow. All right, I might have to switch connections on this one. Once we get this existing up on the astral plane, we take the sigil. If we remove its existence from the physical plane, in other words, we burn it, we're forcing that same law to happen. That nature abhors a vacuum thing, we're forcing nature's hand to move. There's a counterpart on the astral plane to this thing that now physically does not exist here. We are hoping that nature will now make make this thing exist here as the goal, the thing we wanted to manifest, not just give us back another sigil. That's the whole portion of, the whole point of putting it on the astral plane. There's a counterpart to everything that exists here. And it's, a bit different on the astral plane. So we remove the physical existence from here, nature has to do something. She has to fill that void with something, and it is our hope that she fills it with the object of our desire. But another way of doing a sigil is to make a sigil speaking to your subconscious to find your guides, and then you put that sigil under your pillow. Yes, as above, so below. Very good. You put that under your pillow, probably for about a week or so, and then eventually, you're going to burn that. You're going to burn that in some incense. It could be, quite often, the guides are going to contact you right after you put that under your pillow. Sometimes it's going to happen after you've, given it some energy, sleeping on it for several nights, and then burning the sigil. After invoking, like the circle, we banish the circle. We take it away. So that is one time that we're not immediately invoking something, but the idea is that we're going to soon be doing another circle. So sigils destroyed can thus be used to prevent something. I know I've done it. Yes, that's true as well. Well, then, you go over here. I have another version to hide a sigil in plain sight. That one's been on YouTube for close to a decade. And so it's still in plain sight, and people have been posting it all over Earth in public places where people will see it. So, if you want a sigil that you don't have to put a whole lot of work into, get over here to YouTube and find how to find the hide a sigil in plain sight. That's the money magnet sigil, which Marta's class was involved in making that. And if you look at the money magic sigil, at the bottom there's a little happy face. That was Marta's contribution. Everybody at the table contributed to that sigil, and Marta said, well, we want it to be good money that makes us happy. That's one of the downfalls of most money spells. So you put a little happy face in a fucking sigil. That sigil has been in plain sight all over the internet in real life. There's even, graffiti artists and taggers that have done that sigil. People have remade that sigil very artistically and made it their profile pictures all over social media. It's a powerful motherfucker. So, you need some money, go use that money magnet sigil, and then you using that sigil will give it even more power. It was powerful when we made it, but it's just sitting out there just collecting power, collecting power, collecting power. What will cutting cords spell going to do? Um, Usually cutting your attachment from a person, a place, or a thing. Basically, cutting your attachment from nouns. Uh, how can you tell when a spirit is talking to you when in a state of trance or path working without conflating it with your own mind? That's a constant battle. um, Ask it things you don't know. Hard to, but then you're going to have to look up the answers later to make sure that they were right. But ask it things that you don't, ask it for answers to things that you cannot answer. I drew it on the side of a steamer traveling the Great Lakes. Ooh, that's pretty good. Somebody sent me an email one time. They put that sigil on the entrance of the 405 freeway in the heart of Los Angeles. Um, Anybody that's ever been to Los Angeles and driven the 405 freeway knows that you only do so with a certain amount of angst. Angst is energy. If you're getting on that freeway looking at the sign that says 405, that angst is just going to go into the sigil as energy and power the sigil. Hey, my love for art, how are you? We're live on Instagram and YouTube. Had some connection problems on Instagram. Seems like those have gone away. Can we do cutting cord spell on our family member? Yes. I mean, probably the first place that we see that is the hand parting ritual, which a lot of people don't do. Basically, the witch's divorce. A hand fasting, the couple's hands are bound together and then they jump over a broom. That's pretty much everywhere in the world. That's probably one of those cultural similarity things I'm going to have to add to my class. How many ancient cultures jumped over a broom for their marriage? For the divorce portion of that, the hand parting, that cord is cut and often burned too. You look more like a chaos magic kind of guy. I am at times. I recognize that chaos magic, a lot of chaos magic comes out of classical magic. Their idea of sigil magic actually comes from the classical grimoires of Solomon, Agrippa, Abramelin. But with Solomon, Agrippa, and Abramelin, when they said spirit, they meant ghost. When we say spirit, we can often be talking about the energy surrounding a concept, an idea, or a place. So Solomon originally bound actual spirits to a symbol, where we're binding the energy of a concept to a symbol. So it seems a natural evolution since our ideas of the word spirit evolved, so did that magic too. Let's see. What do I think about EA coding? You know, I've never been a fan of EA coding. I am in, you can find it on AMC and Shudder, Cursed Films. I'm in Cursed Films episode 3, interviewed about certain movies that were cursed back in the day. I end up on the same episode as EA Coedig. I can't, Coedig. That's probably the best I've said his name. I think that's it, Coedig. Never really liked the guy. Never really a fan of the guy. I think he went like a bit over the top in that episode, performing a death ritual for the cameras. But it was a good interview. And that's probably the longest I paid attention to EA Coedig, was because we were on the same show. But I think what happened to him on YouTube is absolute bullshit. I don't support it at all. Yeah, you got to stir it. It kind of like real hot chocolate does that once it cools. Friend had a hand fasting in Scotland. Crowley referred to the goetic demons as part of the human mind. Yeah, I mean, some people have called the entirety of Solomon's work an ancient system of psychology. and that's as valid as anything else. A lot of it is psychology. The place where the witchcraft comes from is in our subconscious mind, and a lot of the things we find ourselves doing on altars and stuff is just to trigger those hidden resources in our minds to make shit happen. So perhaps the spirits are just conduits of transmission of information. Yeah, that sounds as legit as anything else. Personally, I think it's BS. The kid had issues long before he followed Bog. Yeah, he did. And yeah, I don't think it's fair to uh, place all that shit on E. I mean, am I supposed to be responsible for what somebody does with something that I taught them, even though I didn't teach them to, murder people with it? don't know don't know Welsh witchcraft. There is. I've totally lost track since my main account of 65,000 people got permanently banned on TikTok. There was a Welsh practitioner out there that had some really good videos, but I have no idea who that person is anymore, or how to find them again. Even though Even though I don't see myself ever targeting them in my lifetime, I'm still curious. Do curses or other malicious spells work on children, seniors, disabled, mentally disabled, and or pregnant women? Yes, all the above. Um, Seniors and the disabled are easier to hit. This is why I always say you got to protect everybody. Mom used to say, if you want to cast a hex, you have to be willing to take the backlash. Not the threefold law, not the Wiccan raid, but she said you have to be willing to do a drive-by shooting of their house if we're not to get caught. You have to be willing to hit innocent people. There may be people in the house that were not the source of the curse. You cannot direct the curse. Curses are not smart bombs. You cannot say, it's only going to hit Joe and not hit Joe's wife, Joe's kid, Joe's grandmother. Everybody in the house is going to get hit. You have to be that committed to what you're doing. It has to be that important to you to risk hitting innocent people. Now, Astraga is taught never to harm the innocent, so that's kind of tricky. Me, I wait till the target's away from home or something. I troll their Facebook and wait till they're on a vacation by themselves or something, or maybe if they're only with their significant other, and I don't like the significant other, but it takes some research, takes some. You got to get intel on your target, find out where your target is. If there's kids around, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to do something else probably that's not a curse. That might be a little more malleable and able to control, but a curse is, once you release a curse, it's just pretty much uncontrollable. I don't believe in those people that think they can, curtail the curse. It's like throwing a festering sore on somebody. It's going to get on them and it's going to grow. There can be something to be said about buying stuff from a thrift store for witchcraft. I would cleanse it of any negativity, but sometimes a lot of that old energy that some of that stuff's going to have can be beneficial. You just got to cleanse out the negativity. That's different than my whole rant about not buying stuff from sweatshops, that kind of thing. So no dollar store, no Walmart, that kind of thing. I got Jade's protection book. She mentions the child's pillow. Is that something specific or legit, or just my kid's pillow? I believe she has I think that's a protection. It's kind of like a sachet that you put into the child's pillow to protect them, I believe. God, I'm not even sure if I have that book on hand anymore, but I have all those spells kind of grilled into my head. But it's typically like, a dream pillow is really not a pillow. It's like a little, sachet full of magical herbs that you stick into your pillow. So I think it was more like that. What are you talking about? Nazis. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the Order of the Nine Angels. No, magic of any kind doesn't necessarily target anyone for any reason. Curses have a certain energy to them. They just, once you've unleashed it, it's like releasing the hounds. Once you release the hounds, you can't stop them from biting somebody that you didn't want them to bite. Whatever's downwind, they're going to bite. So, not all magic is that way, but curses have a certain volatility to them, I guess. But good, you got Mom's book. It's Add to Caffeinated, right on. And you can find that book. If you Google Uncle Birch, you'll find my Amazon influencer page. Um, the book there is Protection Spells and Charms by Jade. Jade is my witch mother. That's her pen name. She had a different name, but that's like her pen name basically. And some of the best old school witchcraft you're going to find anywhere to this day. And it is also a hybrid hoodoo. You know, we didn't know what hoodoo was back then. I didn't know hoodoo from a doo-doo. But looking back at what I know now, having studied hoodoo, what we got there, Judy's got it's a hybrid hoodoo. So it's a hoodoo that incorporates ceremonial magic principles, magical timing, planetary timing, and lunar timing, which isn't traditionally done in hoodoo. But, you know, that's just got some serious hoodoo in it. So making me even more cocky about some of my stances on that, because now not only have I been practicing witchcraft for 40 plus years, apparently I've been practicing hoodoo and I didn't even fucking know. So. Are you done chuckling?
For now.
Oh, well, Hoodoo Semboise's book, of course. Marta's got a signed copy, man. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had him sign it, and he came over one time, and I had bought it, and I think it was Marta's birthday was coming up, and he came over to have some drinks, and so I took him aside in the kitchen. I said, "Sign this, bitch." And he did. But that's a good book. That's a good book, absolutely. Yes, that's how you pronounce it. Oh, I didn't even notice that you said Hoodoo Sen Moose's book. Moose, it auto-corrected or something. Yeah, see, I'm one of the few people that knew how to pronounce it. And then when the president of Haiti got assassinated and his name is Moise, I knew how to say it right away.
The news was even saying it wrong.
I know. Which book is that, Jen? I think you're talking about Jade. Protection, Spells, and Charms by Jade. If you go to my Amazon influencer page, it should be near the top. I found several of her books and posted them up there. Unfortunately, her Money Magic book, which is epic, I only found somebody selling it for like $3,000. I mean, it's good, but I mean, what other occult authors and teachers do you recommend? I like Brian Kane's traditional witchcraft stuff that he's putting out, because nobody's covering that way. I did like Christian Day's Book of the Dead. I think that's back out. Hoodoo Semoise. God, there's so many authors we've had on our show. I like Patty Negri. I still like Christopher Penzak. I don't like a lot of the people he hangs out with. Anybody that we interviewed on Widdershins, probably. Especially the people that sent us a free book, because that's always a classy move. Hey, Damon Fain, how are you? Yeah, my main's in TikTok jail again, so we're over here. We're on, today we're on Instagram and YouTube. I've been mixing it up. I've been doing TikTok and YouTube, and Facebook and YouTube. They're doing a lot of YouTube lately, but I've been doing this dual broadcast thing on 2 different devices, talking about all kinds of things. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans, where I teach witchcraft for a living. My next class is going to be starting January 1st. You can find it at gumroad.com/witchschool. WITCHSKEWL. Some of you out there, type it in there for me, because I can't type it in there. That class will not exist until January 1st, 2022. You do not want to go to my page and sign up for January 1st, 2021, because as you might imagine, it's almost gone at 2021. So January 1st, somewhere around midnight, that class will appear. No, thank you, Attitude Cafeteria, but it's gumroad.com/witch school. WITCHSKEWL. Yes, mind the dates. I have so many classes going on, and I keep them up for like at least a year for the slow students that couldn't finish their classes, and then it gets very confusing, especially when I have something starting on the same month as something that's finishing. So there is a January 2021 class that, of course, as you might imagine, will be finishing. Matter of fact, they'll receive. Actually, they probably just received. I should check that. I don't remember finishing that. Oh. I think there's a January class, but that should be finishing this month. I need to double check and make sure I sent them their final classes. Yes, and you can find us on YouTube too. I have a free course on YouTube, Intro to Witchcraft. I think it's 8 classes. But I don't teach vampirism, but I hang out with a lot of fucking vampires in this town. They have the best shit.
And we're friends with the main vampire guy.
We're friends with the main vampire, who's actually related to Vlad the Impaler.
Is he?
She. For the Vampire Cafe.
Oh, I was talking about Sebastian.
Oh.
She's not the main vampire.
Well, she's the main vampire here. She owns the Vampire Cafe, the Vampire Boutique, and Potions, a speakeasy owned by vampires that tends to have a whole lot of witches in it most of the time.
Strong drinks.
And strong fucking drinks. That's where
Beer.
That's where I was when I came out and did the face plant onto Bourbon Street. I healed up really well from. Look at that. It's like a week and a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of frightening for a while.
Yeah, you're not easily scared.
I know, and that scared me.
I happened upon Eccles a long time ago, and I'm amazed. I have not read.
Eccles,
Yeah, I've not read his work. His book was released when we were in Hollywood, and they did the release at the record store, Amoeba Records. And I was going to go there, but then I drove by there, and the traffic was so nuts around the fucking place. Couldn't find parking. So I'm still unfamiliar with his work, but I was definitely involved in the, several groups trying to free him for years. And I carried the story of the Memphis. Was the West Memphis 5, I think. Carried that on the radio several times, so we're really glad to see him out, as he was the only one really convicted in that had anything to do with the occult. He was still wrongly convicted, but I think at the time, he was a teenage kid that had wrote Aleister Crowley's name on his fucking sneakers. That sent him to death row. Well, if I was to interview Aleister Crowley, I'd have to think long and hard on those 3 questions. Not the off the top of your head kind of thing. So ask me that again, and maybe I will have thought about it. Aleister Crowley's overrated, but he's just misunderstood. You've got to understand Crowley. One of my favorites was he had a student that asked Crowley to teach him how to obtain the Philosopher's Stone, the method of changing lead into gold, the alchemical method of changing lead into gold. And so Crowley hands him a pencil. Now this is, 1920s, 1930s, I think 20s. So, pencils are made of lead, right? Right, okay. So he tells the guy, he says, okay, so for the next year, I want you to write me a letter every 2 weeks. I want you to put $300, check for $300 in each envelope. Send it to me. $300 in 1920s, that's a lot of fucking money. And at the end of a year and a day, I will give you the secret. So this guy writes him a letter, includes $300 for a year. That ends up being a large amount of money in 1920. And at the end of it all, Crowley sends him a letter back that simply reads, "Do as I have done." Expensive lesson. kind of a lesson that sticks. Do you recommend moving to New Orleans? I've been thinking about, absolutely I do. This is the most at home I have felt. And everybody I know is a witch or a hoodoo practitioner or voodoo practitioner. Some of them are all of the above. Um, it's, I never wanted to be normal, but it's normal here. It's pretty standard. Somebody's into some weird type of spirituality, and it's a town riddled with so much fucking magic, man. You feel it everywhere you fucking go. And when we decided to move to New Orleans, it was like the path of least resistance in real life. We came here in August 2019 for me to teach Hexfest. Um, got sucked into the town. I didn't see anybody else's workshops. I did my workshops, and me and Marta just, did the town and the sites and partied and had a good fucking time. And by November, we were here looking for a house, and by early January, we were pulling up out front. So it's just like not only was the path of least resistance, New Orleans was like sucking us in, man. It was really, really, really wanted us to be here. So it was the least fraught with resistance large thing I think we've ever done.
That was a long move with all our stuff.
And it was a long fun
and
move.
a dog and
Yeah,
a cat and
halfway
a
across the
child.
country. First time we ever had movers.
Yeah.
And I sure wouldn't want to do that with a fucking U-Haul.
No.
Yes, that's clever, but that lesson's gonna stick. And it was costly. Um, Magic during an eclipse is a perfect time to do sneaky stuff. I don't buy that. Don't do magic now. Now, think about this for a minute. An eclipse of the moon. I'm assuming we're talking about lunar. Because you'd wait a long time to do it during a solar eclipse. During a lunar eclipse, the shadow of the Earth is on the moon. I can reach off the edge of the Earth and do magic that is now shadowed on the moon. I just reach off the side of the fucking Earth, up above the fucking horizon. The shadow of my hand is in that shadow that's on the moon right at that time. So not just sneaky stuff. Working with the moon, I think the most connected we are with the moon than any other time. And it tends to be a full moon too. So I think it's personally an excellent time to do a lot of different magic, especially shadow magic on the moon. Make shadow puppets. Bunny rabbit on the moon. Yes, the stories people share in New Orleans are amazing. Yeah, I think it's just fear, fear of the dark. It's dark, so people were scared of the moon. I don't know where people came up with those goddamn ideas. Places do that to you, even if it's a Klingon telling you to move to Minsk. Yes, Worf told me, go watch Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
Copla. All right, Uncle Birch coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube. Only a couple people on Instagram. Get over there on Instagram. Get your friends over there. What the hell? Jen loves playing in the dark. Yes. Yeah, a lot of people come up with weird shit like not doing magic when the moon is void of course. Okay, so the moon moves around, going through each of the 12 zodiacal signs, and keeps going around and around. This is a course. Now, the moon void of course is when the moon is in between two signs. Now, Is the moon on course to go to that next sign? Why, yes it is, Uncle Birch. Then explain to me how it's void. Of course. It's a fucking continual circle that never fucking ends. I mean, that's what circles symbolize in the first goddamn place. It is going to go to the next sign, so it is on course for that sign. So I disagree with all of that shit, not working during a void of course, because I don't believe that void of course actually exists, basically. All right, you're gonna have a beer with me in the UK. Well, I got some IPA going on here. We're doing the Terrapin Beer Company from Athens, Georgia's Hobsecutioner Ipa. Not that it's a great IPA, it's more that it's strong. Um, a lot of the local brews around here, even the IPAs, can be like 6% alcohol. I don't consider something an IPA until it's 7 and above. Um, but in New Orleans, for some reason, maybe because I think they want you to keep drinking, they want you to just keep wandering down Bourbon Street, swilling some more beer. They don't want you to get too drunk and do a face plant. Um, so weak beer, and I have enough of a beer belly. I don't need to drink a 12 pack to catch a buzz, which I can I can totally understand how them Budweiser drinkers have huge beer bellies, because the beers are like 4 point something percent fucking alcohol, and you're gonna have to drink a case before you feel the goddamn thing. Koenig isn't responsible for other people's actions. If he planned it with them, then it would be a different story. Absolutely, you can't be responsible for everything that some fool on the internet takes out of context. Otherwise, I'd be getting fucking canceled all the goddamn time. All right, I'm looking over here. There's only a couple people on Instagram, so I haven't missed anything. Over here on YouTube, it's a whole different story. All kinds of people in there. Hey, Lunar Honey's back. Where'd you go? I used a fictional god on a very bad person on an eclipse and got results. Right on, right on. Yeah, I find the eclipse a very powerful time, and a time that I'm going to actually do more magic. And also, yeah, it is good for sneaky magic. Astrology and magic don't necessarily agree on things, as I've discovered by getting kicked in the arse. Yes, that is true. Remember when the moral majority was suing all the metal bands? Yes. Yeah, I think that was
Tipper Gore.
that was during. I think that was the tail end of the Satanic Panic. Yeah, Tipper Gore and the Tipper stickers and stuff.
The PMRC.
Yeah, I think that was the tail end of the Satanic Panic of the '80s. Yeah, I remember all that shit. Yeah, so I guess that's a good analogy to the Coetic thing. There was I think I remember how was it, like Metallica or something? Those kids like shot themselves with a fucking shotgun after doing meth and listening to Metallica for 4 days. It's like, hey, can you blame the fucking meth and the staying up for 4 days rather than the Metallica? Any advice for self-love spells? See, now that's the thing. All love spells need to contain components for self-love, or they're never going to work. And most people don't have that in there. I used amber. Amber, the resin, has good components for self-love. So that's actually the component of my love oil. Amber's in there for that purpose. I always have a component for self-love. Um, so, yeah, amber. I would use amber in whatever love mixture you're using, because it works good. I mean, amber's good for love too, but it's also good for self-love. So it's a good component for whatever you're working with. Megadeth, Slayer, I'm not sure. I mean, I think they all got called up for some shit. You ever get Ozzy and all that shit? The PMRC shit?
He was, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you'd have to.
Yeah. Well, he did this song called Suicide Solution.
Yeah.
And so he was totally dragged into it. because they were saying it was like, promoting suicide and blah, blah, blah.
All right.
So yeah, he was definitely dragged into that.
Add vodka to the beer. Ew. Ew.
Ew, I wouldn't even drink that.
I still have my shirt that says "fuck the PMRC." I made it in high school. Right on. I'm stuck on Instagram. I'm just spitting and I'm stuck over there. Oh, really? I got a few people over there. It's nice to agree with them. They tried Slayer, but they tried to blame for the Columbine, I think.
We watched Basketball Diaries last night. Remember
You watched
that?
Basketball Diaries last night. See, I had never actually seen Basketball Diaries, and when we were watching, I'm going, God, look at fucking everybody's in this fucking movie,
Yeah.
and they're all so goddamn young. Why isn't this has never popped up? I always, because since I'm still paying for all the fucking movie channels that came with my starter package, and I start at 200 and I scroll through all the movie channels just to make sure, I'm not totally wasting my money for paying for all those fucking channels. And I see random shit all the time. Never in my life has the Basketball Diaries shown up. And it's that school shooting scene. If you've seen the movie, that's what it is. That's why you never fucking see that movie. I had to pay for it just to watch it. Wasn't on any free on-demand service out there. I think we paid like $3 to watch the damn thing. But yeah, pretty serious fucking school shooting thing. And they Marta was saying that they were saying that played into the Columbine thing. And sure enough, motherfucker was wearing a long black leather trench coat when he shot up the fucking school. So,
Yep.
whoops. How about just drink vodka and throw the beer in the trash? No.
Yeah,
We'll,
yay, listen to that.
we'll leave that for Marta. Oh, it's Damon's like jumping accounts over here. Hello, power of the occult. And Jen's over here too. I just wonder, do you have both of them on? Is there a lag between the two, or are you hearing me in stereo? Hello, the Valerian. I almost said Valerian. VOIFYI. I don't know what that means. You may not believe in the curse, but the curse believes in you. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I think, when in the episode of Cursed Films that I'm on, episode 3, the same one with E.A. Koenig, I think I talk about that right away. It's like, I would love to get a hold of all the outtakes, because I find myself, because I teach witchcraft and I'm being interviewed for this Hollywood fucking production, and I listen to a lot of the things that I said, and it's like, God, I think I spent most of my interview teaching people how to perform a curse, how to curse a film, how to curse a movie set, how to, curse the actual film itself. And a lot of that wasn't carried, but I think one of the first things that I said was, there's a lot of people out there that believe that if you don't believe in a curse, it won't work on you. And I said on that film, I said, we call those people targets. That person will never fix their situation. They will never remove the curse. And I think I said it on that thing too. It's like a festering disease. It will not go away until you do something. It will get worse and worse and worse and worse. And those that don't believe in the curse will be the worst cursed, because their lives will be destroyed. Even somebody that's shitty at their magic, casting a curse can often disturb a person's REM sleep, waking them up at about 3 in the morning. If you can disturb a person's REM sleep for about a week, they start to go insane. If you can disturb their REM sleep for 2 weeks, they're an absolute fucking nut job. They will destroy their lives for you. So, you don't have to be that experienced to cast a curse. A curse is much easier than a love spell. It's really easy to fucking throw. It may not, reach the exact desired effect, but the ability to disturb a person's REM sleep and drive them insane is pretty easily done. Thank you. There. gross, but you wouldn't have to drink so many beers. Yeah, I know. Jen's a vodka gal too. Well, and Marta's Russian, so I can always give her vodka. She'll never say no to vodka. Sounds like somebody cursed me. Well, even those people that aren't cursed, that believe that they are cursed, the remedy is still the same. They need to do the spell. They need to see the spell happen, or they will curse themselves. So they still need to do the spell. So if you believe that, you jump over here to YouTube, get on my channel and look up how to break a curse. I think I have at least 3 different versions of that. Early on, I was working off of a netbook, and something in the netbook camera, the audio often did not work for smartphones of the time. And we eventually found out that on those videos where the audio didn't work, if you plug in your headphones, somehow it works. I don't know why, but it was such an important lesson that I reshot it at least 2 extra times on a smartphone to make it smartphone friendly. So I think there's even one that says, you know, how to remove a curse smartphone friendly. So just to make sure, and I just stopped using the netbook. I don't, you know, netbooks were early on the scene. It was cheaper than buying a laptop at the time. I was on a budget, so it was like, I think it was less than $200 for the fucking netbook. But something about the camera just did some weird audio shit. So if you're here on YouTube and you ever run into that problem where one of my videos you can't hear it because you know, you can't hear it, and you're on your smartphone, plug in your fucking headphones. Yeah, I don't know why. Don't know why. It's still, you know, something in the dark arts of YouTube that I don't understand yet, but it will work, and you'll be able to watch some of those older videos. And then sometimes it just, one day it works and one day it doesn't work. So I don't know, it's weird. Okay, it's like standing in a phone box and blowing yourself up. Okay, Rach, where are you from? Because phone box, I'm thinking you're like in the UK or something like that. We used to have phone booths. We don't have those anymore, but where does phone box a word? I'm thinking UK. Let me know. Yep. Cool. You still have those? You guess I guess it
We
rains a
see
lot.
them every once in a while.
Here?
Yeah.
When the hell have you seen a phone booth?
Well, maybe not in New Orleans.
I mean, when's the last time you saw a payphone?
Remember in Santa Cruz by the theater, they had that old payphone?
Yeah, but the phone was like cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was a phone booth.
The thing was there.
You didn't
Yeah.
say you would have to have a working phone. You just said phone booth.
Okay. Yes, they did leave them behind apparently, but yeah, they don't work. Okay, that's a hammer. You never know. Liverpool, right on. Those videos are cursed. I believe it's illegal to take phone boxes in the UK. Take down phone boxes. Really? All right. I remember one in Hollywood I saw like right around the corner from some place by our house we used to go to. It was like all overgrown with vines and stuff. I took a picture of it, like some archaeological dig from some previous civilization.
Yeah.
It was still there. I mean, the phone's not in it anymore, but you know, the box was of the phone, but the receiver was gone. The Valerians started following me. Okay, where are you? Let's see. I think if I press, I should be able to follow you. How did I do that before? Oh, I'm so Instagram ignorant. Maybe you have to comment. Let me see, let's see. Yeah, if you comment, I can follow you. Here, like I'm following my love for art now. Let's see, I think I'm following Jan. Should I? Yeah, I'm already following Jan. No, I'm not following Jan. Okay, now I'm following Jan. I'm so ignorant on YouTube or Instagram. Let's see. I'm not. Oh wait, yeah, I'm following Power of the Occult. All right. It's not that ancient. It was an AA analogy. Police boxes. Yes, we had those too. Wonder if any of those are still standing. You would make a fortune to write a book on how to make oils, sprays, etc. Huh. I might. I still, always tossing around what to do for a book, but I need to get a scribe. I need to have somebody just write down what I say, because when I type, I just, it's, I don't even, I don't even want to read it when I type. It's too short. Police box used to be like a phone, like back before cops had radios and shit. They would have these phones that only cops could. They'd have a key to open it. They would be like dispersed around the city, and like cops on like a foot beat. Um, they'd have to go to the phone booth and open it up, and it's like basically a locked phone booth for cops. And I think like even like they would have to call in while on their patrol and tell people, okay, I'm on, so and so and so and so, everything's cool here, and they call if they needed help, that kind of thing. But it was kind of like a locked little phone box for the police back before they had radios and shit. So way old school. Yeah, I do know specific ingredients, that's for sure. God, I have this hound in between my legs, pushing up against me. It's a dog hug. We call it a Doug. He just is such a needy fucking dog.
He won't leave me alone.
I know.
Like when I get up and I sit down to have my coffee, he's right there.
Yeah. I grew up in a tiny town. Yeah, I think those were only in cities. I don't know what the cops in small towns did. There are still police boxes. Yes. God, I'd like to see. That'd be good things to get a picture of. Just like remnants from ancient civilizations. Mojo 11s. Yes, absolutely. We have a few phone boxes in Ireland, but it's for the tourists. They like pile in there and get their pictures taken and shit. Donna Murphy. Yeah, that's a fucking Irish sounding name for sure. Oh, cool. Thanks. He was a follow. Yeah. I forget to do that. But the thing is, like, I went able to follow Valerian, because you have to comment for me to even have the ability to follow you. So I will follow the Valerian if you comment something. I haven't seen you say anything, but let me scroll. Okay, no, they just joined and didn't say anything. Yeah, I don't see anything from Valerian. Yeah, on Instagram, I'm still Instagram ignorant, so I'm trying to follow most people that follow me back. Lady Witch is in Detroit. They don't even have police, let alone police boxes. Well, I have a channel on TikTok now just for political shit called Feel Free 13, and I've been getting into it with Trump supporters. And I've seen this so many times, somebody's going off about, the crime rate, and the Democrats came and defunded the police, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Some people threw that around. Michigan. Michigan's doing some defunding the police kind of stuff. They have a separate force that they send out for mentally ill people. They're kind of like what do you call them? Social workers. So they still have police. So they haven't been really defunded, but they did start another thing of social workers and that kind of thing that go out for certain situations rather than wasting the time of the police, which actually gives the police time to fight crime. So crime rates have not gone up, and it's only been in play for like a couple months now, but nobody else did that. Nobody else in America defunded the fucking police. Don't let anybody fucking tell you that thing. It's an idea that was thrown around, but nobody's actually pushed through any fucking legislation anywhere to defund their fucking police. But they keep saying that. I think Trump taught them that they can just lie and keep lying and just keep repeating the lie over and over again, so they're going to do that. So the crime surge in the country is because the Democrats defunded the fucking police. Like, no, nobody did that. Matter of fact, if somebody wanted to do that, there's no way they could have pushed through legislation to do that yet. that would take years to do something like that. Let's see. Is the show? I'm sorry, I'm over on. There's a lot of comments on YouTube. I'm catching up with here. Does it show me still on Instagram? Are you Mystic Deanna on Instagram? Oh, say something. I'm not gonna scroll all the way back. I don't know. I can't tell who's here. Wait, is it gonna tell me who's here? Attitude Caffeinated, part of the Occult, My Love for Art, and Jen Norman. That's who I got on Instagram. It's pretty slow over on Instagram. It's a good idea. It's a good idea, but we still need cops, fairly well-trained ones. Yeah, but that's the thing. Defunding the police was never about getting rid of cops. It was exactly what Michigan's doing, having a separate group to deal with stuff that cops don't need to fucking deal with. You know? Cops should deal with crime.
They're not equipped to deal with mental illness.
Yes, exactly. So they got like social workers and mental health experts going out to all these other things, welfare checks. Cops shouldn't be doing welfare checks on people. And it tends to work out really bad if it turns out to be a person of color. They end up getting shot. And then we need to check their fucking welfare because it ain't doing very good.
Well, in our case, all they had to do was not answer the door. And
Yeah.
like, oh, that means she's out. Like,
yeah.
It could also mean she's dead, can it?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, have you know, don't have the cops doing fucking everything. Have them out there doing cop shit, and we'll get some other people to do the non-cop shit that the cops are doing but shouldn't be doing and keep fucking up. Okay, Polish and married an Irishman. Okay, so that's your married name, Murphy. Definitely an Irish name right there. Mystic Deanna is commenting on something. Wait. Huh. Well, no, that's odd, Mystic Deanna, because I got you commenting on Instagram. I just got notifications. But I don't see you over here, unless you're not Attitude Caffeinated, right? Yeah, I'm already following Attitude Caffeinated. There is another account associated with me out there that I don't really have access to. I think it's Witch School or something like that. And yeah, you may be on my other Instagram. So apparently you know how to get there, but I don't really know how to get to that account. Let's see. It's pretty nice out here. It's like mid 70s. There's clouds. Maybe going to be some rain. There was some wind.
Today.
Yeah, we got, I got another layer on, so it's not as. Yesterday it got up in the 80s.
Yesterday was warm.
Other people are getting snow and
I
shit.
had to take my clothes off last night when we were in bed.
Yeah, baby.
Hot.
Huh. Yeah, Mystic Deanna. I think you're on my other Instagram account. Does it say Witch School up there? Like, okay, so for those of you that don't know, over here on YouTube, over here it's Uncle Birch, one word, _witch. I probably could have just got away with Uncle Birch, but I put witch in there to see if that would boost my ratings. I don't think it really did. But Uncle Birch, one word, _witch. That's my Instagram account. Hey, Joe Dirt. How the hell are you? I am Havocax on TikTok. Figured I'd watch here. Oh, cool. Send me, tag me on something on TikTok so I make sure I'm following you over there. Yeah, my main TikTok account, the only one I can go live on, is in TikTok jail for a couple days because of the candle drama. But then I've got Uncle Birch. So I got Uncle Birch 2. Candlegate. I got Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3, Witch School, WITCHSKEWL, and now my political channel, Feel Free 13. And even though that one's not about witchcraft, a bunch of the same witches are following me over there. So political witches, I guess, Okay, yes, Instagram spinned out some over there. Yeah, I think he may have been on my other Instagram account. It says like which school. It might have been that one. I don't really even know how to get to that account. And I've lost touch with the person that set up that account. I never had anything to do with that account, really. And then somebody, the person that set it up said, hey, people keep messaging you over there. So I did go over there once and answer some messages, but on Instagram, I'm Uncle Birch _witch. I feel like TikTok witches have 3 brain cells. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, a lot of them do, but that's why I stay on TikTok, because they're in need of instruction. Yes, you have one with a few posts on which school. Okay. That's funny. So, huh. Because I got a notification. So, this phone must know how to get to that Instagram account. I wonder if there's a way to just link the accounts together or something like that. Because I got a notification when you went there. It said Mystic Deanna's on Instagram, but then I didn't see you over here. So, you have. Your error has led me to maybe learning something. That apparently this phone has that Instagram account in it. This one does. I didn't see that notification over here. So maybe I can get to that Instagram account. Maybe I'll do this one time. Maybe I'll go double Instagram on 2 different phones. All right, I'll think about what that means to me. But what you just found out means something very important. I do not know what as of yet. Yeah, well, bad enough we have Christians attacking us over on TikTok, but then some witches that get all up in their feelings going to go mass report too. So feel free to go out, mass report um, that Moonrose woman, because that's the only one that I have problems with still. Everybody else, we kind of worked it out, but that Moonrose and her friends are the ones that mass reported me this time. So if you don't like Uncle Birch not being able to go live on Uncle Birch 2 and not being able to see fresh content on Uncle Birch 2, that person from Candlegate with the name Moonrose something, it's her fault. Get her. I still see signs about Daniel Prude around my workplace. Yeah. Cauldrons, uses, tips, and opinions. Typically cauldrons are cool-looking incense burners now. I don't know anybody that brews anything in a cauldron. It's really hard to regulate the heat while brewing something in a cauldron. Maybe there are.
I make my gumbo in a cauldron. That red thing that's cast iron inside.
Well, that's a cast iron pan. It's not a cauldron.
It's not a pan, it's a pot. What are you talking about? The red thing, the
Cauldron,
red one.
a cauldron needs 3 legs.
Okay, so it's a legless cauldron.
A legless cauldron. All right, Marta cooks in a legless cauldron. Other than that, I don't know anybody that's actually brewing anything in cauldrons. Where more, for burning things, burning your sigils, burning, petitions. The cauldron's good for that. And then a fancy incense burner. And I'm starting to think that we're not going to be out on here for too much longer. It's getting a little gamey out here. Really good to see you guys. It's good to see you too. I think I tried TikTok once and never went back. Yeah. I can't deal with TikTok witches. They exhaust the hell out of me. Yeah, I know.
The Bowling Green Massacre, 12 people confirmed dead. See, she called it. Remember when
Yeah. Kellyanne Conway talked about the Bowling Green Massacre? Yeah.
Yeah. So people died in Bowling Green.
From the tornado?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Bowling Green Massacre Part 2. So let's deal with karma then. Throw negativity to come back. God, I have so many videos about this. Well, first of all, the Strega, Italian witches, believe that they are the hands of karma. Karma is a verb. But that's the part of karma we're talking about. What goes around comes around. Witches are responsible for making that come around when they see people doing evil things to people. However, karma means something much larger. I think, how did I say it on TikTok? What goes around comes around is a small pimple on the large ass of what karma is. What karma ultimately means is that your higher self chose this incarnation for you based on lessons that you are supposed to learn in this lifetime. In other words, everything bad that happened to you, and good stuff that happened to you, was because you chose it. If you were born poor, if you were born blind, if you were born in a wheelchair, or one of those things happened to you in life, you chose that. Your higher self chose that because your higher self knows that you incarnated in this life to learn a certain set of lessons. And it only cares about the lesson plan. It does not care about trauma. It does not care about drama. It does not care about pain other than as a lesson. Those things are lessons to your higher self. And so that would mean every fucked up thing that ever happened to you, you chose for that to happen to you before you were born, when you were in a higher state and, disconnected from the pain of those kind of things. This, way too much personal responsibility for your average American to handle. That's karma. So the what goes around comes around portion of karma is this much of what karma means. Nothing.
Snoop on a stoop.
Ooh, imagine brewing things in a heating flask under a Bunsen burner. Ooh, that sounds fun. Yes, in order to ascend. Dharma, yes, yes, yes. Back here on Instagram. It's getting Instagram's getting annoying. What's it doing over there? Cauldrons are good for scrying if you fill it with plain water. Yes, yes, because you want for water scrying a dark bowl is best. Cauldrons tend to be black, so yeah. The human experience is like school for our higher self to reach new levels. Absolutely. What's the meaning of life? To learn things. As Dwayne Pride from NCIS New Orleans would say, learn things. It's one of my favorite things to say to Trump supporters and anti-vaxxers. Learn things, and also, well, bless your heart. Because calling people a dumbass outright always gets me in Facebook jail. But I can say bless your heart. It means the same damn thing. Hello, Jakayla. Yeah, there's also bots too. That's true. So yes, I saw Rose saying this is the last time I'm making a video on him, then made another 30 minutes later. Well, yeah, because Power of the Occult, I found out from your channel that she was still over there talking shit. But on Uncle Birch 2, I was blocked. I also couldn't see her on Uncle Birch 3. But she didn't know enough to block Witch School. And she also didn't know enough to block Phil Free 13. So I was able to go to her page, see her talking shit behind a shield of blockage, which is cowardly shit. I would never fucking do that. And then respond, hey, how you doing? Good. Hey, hey, Mojo, don't snap at her.
He didn't snap.
He wasn't snapping?
No, he's not.
Oh, you're just playing? Okay.
He's just super excited.
He wants you to know that we don't feed him.
I'm sorry. Did I get y'all wrong?
Well, they are happy to see you.
Hey. You hush up. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Mojo.
Hey, stop.
They've been catching possums here.
Oh,
And
They were playing tug of war with
stop
one.
it, and then a couple minutes we come back and the possum's gone. So they're like they're total survivors. Like they seem like they're dead, which is the point.
No, they just lay there.
And then they
pretending-
leave. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
were
the dogs were
playing
playing
tug of
tug-of-war
war,
with
not
the
playing,
possum. It
but
was
they were
vicious.
doing tug of war with an opossum, and I didn't think that one was gonna survive. And we finally pried it out of his mouth, and a couple minutes later, it was gone.
Well, as he let go, I had to pry it out of
The
Mojo.
possums are good,
I had to
but
pry it
you
out of
definitely
Mojo's
don't
mouth.
Want to rid your yard of
Yeah.
possums.
Yeah.
I know.
They eat all the slugs and all the.
I
other
know. These
crap.
guys keep trying to kill the fucking possums, man.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Like the first time they started showing
Guess
up
we're gonna roll with this.
on our side, I was freaked out by them. I was like, these are disgusting creatures. And hey, Joe. Yeah, it's a sweet baby. And the cats would just like lay down on the porch next to the possums,
Guarding
and
their
eat
food.
like they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a good boy, aren't you?
Follow you for that.
You're a good boy.
Follow.
You're just excited. That's
Yeah.
Yes. That's his whole problem. He's just too excited about
all.
He's like,
everything.
I
He's a
get no
baby
food.
still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
he
he's
is.
2, but
Yeah, but that's
he still acts like a baby.
Ozzy's like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, he's like, you're an embarrassment.
Hey, Ozzy. But Ozzy's the one that jumps the fence, not Mojo.
I know. Mojo can
And Mojo
easily
could.
jump it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
was
Yeah.
thinking
surprised
he'd
he
be the
has
one
it.
to do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, now they're gonna play. They're gonna sound like vicious. Roo, roo, roo.
Stop it! Stop it! Hey, Ozzy. Sweet baby. Good. Mojo's bad. Go kick his ass. Yeah, you're good. Oh, you stop it. Stop
Hey.
it.
Joe.
Hush up.
Okay.
They just need a firm hand.
Yeah.
They're good dogs.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah,
not
alright.
aggressive or anything. He's
No,
just
he's
really
sweet as
excited.
hell.
Yeah.
Except unless you're a possum.
Yeah, poor possums. We had like a little baby one show up.
They caught a baby one time too.
It's like this big.
Oh.
And I hate to say it, but they're kind of cute when they're really little.
Yeah.
Like that.
Hey,
And it was
hey,
like
can I have that?
hanging by its tail
Charger.
off of a chair.
Aw.
And it was just like hanging there. I was like,
Cute.
what the hell? And it was like all white. It
Really?
was like an albino baby possum.
Oh wow. Whoa, white possum.
Yeah, it's
That's
cute.
cool.
But then most of the time they're kind of like piebald. You know what I mean? Like they're just like
Yeah.
horrible looking, like they got the mange or something.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
This one was really cute though.
You.
Why you guys all up in my grill now? I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, we're always here.
So excited.
Oh,
here they go
Here
again.
he comes. As he just woos.
Bro. Yo, acts like he's gonna bite her.
Stop it. God, he looks like, is he part greyhound maybe?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of
I was gonna
greyhound
say,
in him.
he's like
Yeah.
so bony looking.
We cannot, it doesn't matter how much we feed him, like you'll always see his ribs, but yeah, he's part greyhound and part whippet.
Oh yeah, he totally looks
And he's
like
got
that.
the barrel chest, like.
And
he's-
Italian greyhound too.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
he's just, we thought he was just a Louisiana dog.
Joe, Feel Free 13, I think is my latest one. Like 4. You may have them all. Oh.
He's getting frisky because it's windy outside. Oh,
Woo.
there's nobody over there. We had Boo Radley, our black cat.
Uh-huh.
We had to put him to sleep. 2 days,
Oh,
2 days
no.
ago, so
Oh.
they shouldn't be jumping over the fence so much anymore.
Is that the cat
Oh.
that he'll usually jump for?
Well, I think they were probably jumping for him if y'all have a black cat too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always just assumed that was why they were trying to jump the fence all the time.
I remember that cat tried to walk in the back door a couple times.
Well,
The
I
dogs
saw
came
that cat
running.
out here, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Gray or black?
it was a black one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was probably Boo. Did he have like a he
Talking to
had
the
like
neighbors
a
right now.
cancerous tumor
Oh,
Oh.
on his neck?
I'm sorry.
He started
Kitty.
try to, you know, jump the fence. So,
What?
Yeah.
he knows no boundaries.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Mojo definitely knows. Like, Azzy at least knows when he's in trouble and if he's done something wrong. But
He'll still jump the
just
fence. He knows he's
doesn't
not
care.
supposed to. He'll
Yeah.
be all
Well,
like
he's the only
guilty
one
when he
that's ever
comes back.
jumped the fence.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
think Mojo's ever jumped the fence.
He's jumped that fence too, a couple times.
Really?
Yeah, he jumps yours more.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's fine with me. I don't care.
The first time he ever did it was he jumped
Muggles,
it into Randy's yard.
How did
And
that go?
well, we were.
Well, I went running around Randy's yard yelling for him. And then Randy asked me later, he goes, "What's all that noise in the
we
backyard?"
didn't realize Randy was home,
Yeah.
so we were like in his yard trying to get Azzy, and Randy goes, "Azzy did that?" Like he was really surprised that it was Azzy.
What?
Yeah, no, 'cause
Why are you all
what-
up in my
what's
grill
suspected
now?
would be Mojo, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, when I think, what was the last time he jumped over the fence? We just brought him through the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Azzy, you got some, like, skills.
Yeah. He just wants to see you guys.
He's gonna come see.
Oh,
Mojo's got to. He's got to interfere.
Mojo, you just gotta mess everything up.
He always does that. Mojo.
It's like she's trying to pet Azzy, and Mojo's like grabbing her arm. Going, "Arr, arr, arr." You jealous little shit.
Azzy is so patient. Like I would have beaten Mojo up.
Jealous
a lot
little
of
shit.
times.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
I know, I'm
Rude.
like, I don't know why he hadn't, like,
Yeah.
turned around yet.
He lets him sit on his head. Just, whatever. Azzy. He's got to get his toy.
He's like, no, man.
He's like, I know
I
what's
have to
gonna
deal with
happen.
that stupid dog.
I know.
What are you doing?
Oh my gosh, they're so funny.
Yeah. Never a dull moment.
Yeah, now we just have Psycho Kitty, and she just tears shit up. So,
Is that your indoor one?
yeah. I mean, I've tried to make her go out just because we can't stand her. Go outside, please.
Yeah.
She won't go. I leave the back door open for her all the time. I started like a Psycho Kitty blog, basically. This this morning, Mark and Shannon, she calls us her slaves. Slave Shannon and Slave Mark left the back door open. They think I'm going to go outside so they can lock me out. Basically, is the gist of it.
That sounds
So,
cool. Right, Azzy? Azzy would read that.
Yeah. Cats are funny.
Yeah. Our cat's just jaded. He's over it. He's like, we were dog sitters before. He'd be in the house with like 15 dogs and not
gosh.
happy about it, but he just deals with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's pretty jaded.
We just have when I say with Jack, the gray cat that's out here all the time, he, like, so, you know, strays show
gonna
up,
grab a beer.
right? And we're those people
Yeah.
that feed them. You know, because there's like a spay and neuter program with the SPCA.
Uh-huh.
So you can, you know, get them neutered, get their ears clipped, and then let them back out into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's really the best thing to do because they keep, you know, mice and all that stuff away.
Yeah.
So we have one of those back here right now that we call Jack. He's the gray cat. He's so cute, but he's like totally feral. Like it's not like he could ever be like a pet or anything.
So technically, we've got the one cat.
I only have one cat now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen a mouse or a rat at all around here.
Yeah, you won't. Because it's not just us. There's like all these other people in the neighborhood that basically the space. Oh, stop it.
Stop. No. Be nice.
The spay and neuter program is pretty
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
With that.
We got like a block down there. It's like Lord of the Cats.
Yeah.
I do not take the dogs walking that way because there's like the whole neighborhood's
that
ruled
orange
by
mouse
feral
down
cats.
there, I think her name is Celia. She's got like a bunch of different cats that she's like had spayed and neutered and just left them out. So there's a lot more down there than there are here. Unfortunately, or I mean maybe fortunately for you, most of the ones that were on our block have died. It's just been, you know, since Katrina, after Katrina, we must have had, I don't know, 10, 20, like, stray cats that all the neighborhood like trapped and neutered and just re-released.
Yeah.
And they like slowly but surely kind of just disappeared. So I don't know.
What are you
They
doing?
didn't have a
What
terrible
are you
life.
doing?
Yeah.
They got fed.
Yeah, that's cool. They
They
had
got
their
fed,
freedom.
They had a safe place to stay
Yeah.
in somebody's backyard. So I don't know. It's like it is what it is. Oh my goodness.
Quit licking his junk.
Oh, he's like, now I can come.
Show him your good eye. Oh, as he's getting love and you can't interfere because you're over here. You jealous little fucker. Look, he's looking. He's just going, oh no, as he's getting love. Papa, let me go. I gotta
Like, you see
interfere
that,
with
Papa?
as he getting love. You can't let him get no love.
Yeah, anytime any of us pays attention to Azzy, Mojo's like right there.
Pissed off.
Yeah, trying to get the attention.
No. You
He's
just
like the annoying little brother.
let Azzy get some love. It's Azzy's turn for lovies. Yeah. You're just gonna go over there and try and bite her. No. You just sit right here.
How old is Ozzy?
5.
Oh, so he's not that old either, really.
No, we got him when he was 1.5, and he was nothing. He was like, we rescued him, and he
Okay,
was
calm
just
down,
always the best dog.
Calm down.
ever.
Ow.
Yeah, he's so
Get your
sweet.
bony butt off
Yeah.
of me.
And he's
Your
good
bony
with, you
butt
know,
off of
tiny.
me.
You can have like a tiny little teacup chihuahua, and he's totally good with that.
Yeah, he's a good dog.
Yeah.
I mean, Mojo's a good dog too. Mojo's just kind of crazy. Too.
Yeah. He's a little tightly wound.
Yeah.
He's a rebel without a cause.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, he's so stoked now that he's caught something because Azzy was the only one to catch a possum or a squirrel. Now Mojo's had 2. Well, long enough for me to get him out of his mouth. And they were fine. Like even that one that they played tug of war with,
Oh,
he walked away. I put the dogs in the house and then he walked
Are
away.
you sure it's the dogs? Because I found like 2 dead squirrels on the porch for like I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With, like the head's gone.
Yeah, no. I mean, there was like
I was
they.
like, I'm pretty sure that the cats did it.
No, they both had a hold of it, and they were like, "Rrr," like growling and pulling at it,
that's horrible.
yanking
Yeah,
it.
we
And I
saw
had
it.
to. I told Azzy to let go. Azzy dropped it. Mojo had to pry his jaw off it, put the dogs in the house, and then about 20 minutes later, I went and looked, and the possum was gone. There was no blood on the ground. And I felt the possum when I was prying his jaw off. It's like they got some thick fur,
Yeah, it feels
some
gross.
thick skin. So.
I know. I was telling a friend of mine like maybe a month or so ago. I was sitting outside and I wasn't paying attention, and a possum came up on the porch and rubbed up against
We're
my
just
leg.
hanging
you know,
out
like
with
a
us,
cat
talking
does.
to the
Yeah.
neighbors.
And I was like,
That's what we're doing now.
What is that? It was like this bristly. It's like
Reality
it's like
TV.
whiskers.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever touched the possum.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
Oh.
Yeah, it felt like whiskers.
Yeah, I had to go wash my hands afterwards.
I prefer not to do it ever again.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
Oh, I gotta finish my laundry.
Oh, hello, Auntie Katie.
About playing with your dog.
Who's been over here talking with the neighbor. Let's see now, way back here on Instagram, somebody, my love for art, hopefully you're still here, asked, what's the point to all these lessons? We were talking about karma actually meaning that your higher self chose this incarnation for you, and the things that happened in your life, the major events, the good and the bad, meaning that you chose the bad shit that was going to happen to you. Because the higher self only cares about the lessons that you needed to learn in each incarnation. Somebody asked me, what's the point? Well, I was taught in my tradition that the ancients believed that each human being needed to be born once under each of the zodiological signs, with the goal of obtaining all of the strengths and overcoming the weaknesses of each one of those signs. And that this would take, at least, if you did it right, 12 lifetimes to do that. But they say that the ancient magi came up with the process of initiation to rush the final, to push the lessons of more than one zodiological sign into your lifetime in one lifetime. Now, I started out with the lessons of Cancer, and I think I overcome the majority of the weaknesses and accumulated the strengths of Cancer, and tend to be working on my Leo side now or something. But you know, I've been through plenty of initiations, but that was the point of the initiations to them, was so that we could get through the process without having to be born at least 12 times. What happens at the end of that cycle depends on who you're talking to. In that particular version, they believe that we became stars. We became stars in the heavens with our own planets. Once we were freed from the wheel of human incarnation. It varies depending on who you're talking to, but that was like the idea. You can do the great work now, but it has to be done before death to escape the cycle. Ah, the great work. Words we don't oft hear anymore, but should be remembered. Okay, you guys talking about cats and dogs, and, and we were talking to the neighbor. All right, it's becoming late, so I'm gonna get out of here pretty soon. I gotta go feed these dogs and go do other stuff. We need to eat stuff and drink stuff and probably watch stuff. We trimmed our black tree last night. I'm ancient. You must be ancient to use the term the great work. Only me and people I know use those words anymore. Actually, I do think I heard Brian, and that's one of the reasons Brian Kane
I might have heard him say the great
said
word.
the great work in one of his videos. And I thought, old school. Yes, that's why I hang out with such a person.
We love Brian.
So I'm gonna drink some more of this beer, have probably another cigarette, and then we're gonna go do other stuff, do dog owner stuff,
Child owner stuff.
child rearing stuff, then husband stuff, and sitting around doing nothing, fucking around on TikTok stuff. Yeah. Brian and Levi say hi. Yeah, guys, you know, I didn't see their show last night. Friday nights is not a good time to have your fucking podcast.
Who said
if
Brian
you
and
watch
Levi
it.
said hi?
Jen.
Oh.
When did they say hi? They say hi last night on their show. You know, I don't run across Levi too much. We hang out with Brian and Christian a lot. Haven't seen Levi at any of the mutual functions we go to.
Christian's house once.
Yeah.
That was it.
I kind of thought that time that they came to Potions, they might bring the whole crew, bring Ellie and Levi.
I thought so too, but
Now we're talking about Covendom. You can find it over here on YouTube. Covendom's a really cool podcast with Brian Kane, Levi Rowland, and Ellie Barnes, all locals here, friends of ours, and it's a really cool podcast about traditional initiatory witchcraft from the perspective of, well, not just British traditional witchcraft, but specifically Alexandrian witchcraft. And they're really cool, and it's a good show. They're probably one of the only people that, except for Rach, or Rock, I don't know how you say that, that has used the term the great work in a very long time. Oh, shut up, Donald Trump Jr. I don't care that you're tweeting shit. Why does it have to? You know, I don't follow him on Instagram or Twitter.
me neither.
The people that I follow, I never see notifications, but all the people that I hate, like Lauren Boebert popped up there a little while ago. They, like, I think it's like TikTok, it's like Facebook. They traffic stuff to us that's going to piss us off, because that type of engagement makes more hits than people liking your shit. Hate is a very different energy than love. Now, TikTok's doing the same thing, but then they allow their algorithm to go crazy and, you know, kick people off for engaging in that hate, or, you know, furthering that hate. Maybe allowing people to maliciously spam attack other people's account, plays into the hate that they want to keep going on. I'm not sure how that really benefits TikTok to continually have that, because more and more I see people just leaving TikTok because of the bullshit that goes on there. You know, whenever I hear somebody leaving Facebook, they're back in a month. People that leave TikTok don't seem to come back. It was a blast. Merry part to you too, Donna. I'll be here till probably the end of this smoke. So if you have any further questions and stuff, let me know. Again, my next class will be starting. Again, the level 1 year and a day course in witchcraft will be starting on January 1st. Can be found at gumroad.com/witch school, which is of course WITCHSKEWL. The class will not appear till January 1st, so you do not want to sign up for January 1st, 2021, Level 1 Witch School. That's the wrong class. It will be 2022. Unless I'm really drunk and mislabel the fucking thing when I post it. It will not appear on the platform till somewhere around midnight, New Year's Eve. And so the best thing to do, thank you over here on Instagram. We've got the link, gumroad.com/witch school. Just go over there, make yourself an account, follow me, and then, somewhere, around New Year's Eve, I will send out a notification when that class is posted. And then you just click on that notification, it takes you over there, click on the class, and then you're in. Usually it's not until about January 5th that classes will go out. However, the class will be open to join throughout the month of January. So, you don't exactly have the money or whatever on January 1st, you can join it through the entire month of January. And if you join it late and the lessons have already gone out, you will get the lessons that already went out. You guys over here discussing the great work, it seems. Okay, very good. It's about high magic. The point is to escape the cycle in order to ascend. Yes. What would you think about making a wand from a tree in the Black Forest? I would think that's epic. When I lived in the Redwoods, I lived a stone's throw from the oldest state park in California, Big Basin State Park, so some of the oldest redwoods that they had. And I loved making staves out of redwood. Redwoods drop these things called widowmakers that are perfect staves, and they drop from ancient trees, and that kind of energy is excellent for a wand, a staff, whatever you got. If you need help on TikTok banning or argument or anything, tag me. I'd love to put logic and facts on some of them dum-dums. Okay, I'll try and remember to tag you, Joe Dirt. But I will probably forget have a KE 101 because I'm a pot smoker. I can't say that on TikTok. I had a coworker who's interested in witchcraft about your class. She'll probably get it January. Cool, very cool, very cool, very cool. Oh, the redwoods are amazing. They have one in Big Basin State Park where I actually did a ritual with like 10 people holding hands, standing in a circle, arms outstretched all the way inside a fucking tree. It was a powerful fucking ritual. I believe that tree was called the grandmother of the forest, one of the oldest trees. And redwoods will do that. They'll hollow themselves out sometimes. The tree's in, perfect condition, perfect health, but the center of the tree is fucking hollowed out. It's incredible. You should see. If you've never seen the redwoods, you got to see them. It's the only place on earth it happens is in the Pacific Northwest. Nobody else has them. And when I was, growing up pagan in Southern California, the closest thing I had to nature and trees was eucalyptus trees. I thought those were awesome, but I'd never actually, worshiping nature my whole life, I'd never actually experienced nature till I moved to the Santa Cruz Mountains. And so the first nature that I actually got immersed into was redwood forests. Awesome shit. Got to see them when we visited California. So amazing. Yep. There used to be one in Humboldt County that you could drive a car through. Oh, Joe Dirt's talking about that right when I said that. You know that burned up, Joe? That's not there anymore. I don't know if you ever went through it. I always thought it was more natural, but it was literally a tree that they cut a fucking hole through, just big enough for a car to bear. I was in a Ford Explorer. I was scraping the sides going through that fucking drive-through fucking tree. But in some of the crazy wildfires that we've had, Christian Day's thanking me for something. I don't know what. In one of the wildfires that we had, I think last year, or the year before, the fucking famous drive-through tree in Northern California burned up. No longer there. Oregon has tons of ley lines and spiritual stuff. Yes. Well, my shop is in Oregon, Joe. The Lovers Hermetic Supply. thelovershermeticsupply.com. In my current course that I was just talking about, one of the things that I teach is shopcraft. I teach you how to make your own stuff, how to make your own brews, and maybe to open your own witch store or spiritual store or psychic store, whatever you want to do. I've been in the business a long fucking time. And I saw one of my students on TikTok showing his shop, and I could tell by the way he was, talking about it, some of the stuff he said. It's like, this kid took my class, learned everything that I taught him, and added to it. Like, he teaches sigil magic, and I teach two different types of sigil magic. He blended them together and made another type of sigil magic on his own. So, like I always teach my students, learn what I taught you and then make it your own. Add to it and get out there on the fucking internet and do something with it. And here was this guy doing that. And he's doing a great fucking job. Everything I taught him and more. And you can also find the Lovers Hermetic Supply on Instagram over here. There's an Instagram page. I've reached the point where I can't be spending my time making your candles and shit all fucking day. I'm too fucking busy. I can't run a fucking witch store all day. And for a couple years, I had somebody else, one of my students, running that shit. But this guy had his own shop already doing that stuff. So we allied. So it's both shops together. Most of the stuff, we don't have the Sacred Grove sticker and that kind of thing, because I don't have those to send them. But the Lovers Hermetic Supply and the Sacred Grove joined forces. So I just joined forces with one of my students who's doing a fucking excellent job. And I'm always impressed when I see people that I taught out there on the internet doing stuff with them. The only spiritual store by me is full of cultural appreciation. Oh, that's cool. Cultural appreciation's good, Dame Faye. I know what you were trying to say. Well, yeah, I've lived all over the place. I had different goals. Long ago, I decided that what you really want to do is find a way to make a living on the internet. Because the way the system's designed is based on the cost of living. If you find a place that rent is really cheap, jobs are scarce. If rent's expensive, jobs are plentiful. You're locked into a cost of living design that you will never get out of and will never get ahead of in a geographical location. If your living's coming from the internet, you are not locked into a cost of living of anything. So I did it backwards. I opened a brick and mortar store for about 20 years with that goal later down the road. And I eventually started the web store and then started teaching online. And then one day I did the math and found out that I had been making my living mostly from my teaching online and using a lot of that money to keep the brick and mortar store open, which was not the goal. Once I did the math, we broke the lease, hoped they wouldn't sue us, had good excuses we gave them for doing that, and got the fuck out. Then we moved all over California. We ended up in Hollywood for quite a bit of time. And then when, you know, when it was time to, you know, consider moving to New Orleans, changing the house was the only thing that we had to worry about. Marta already, you know, her works from home, my works from home. It had no effect whatsoever. So we could live wherever we wanted to. And so I think we're home now. I'm going to be here. But work smarter, not harder, I say. Find a way to make some portion of your living online. Because if you get locked into the cost of living scenario that almost everybody in the country and the world is locked into, it's designed for you to never get ahead. And the worst way to get ahead in life is a 9-to-5 fucking job. And it's that time, kids. Time to get out of here and do other things, so as our ancestors used to say, to remind us of the troubled times through which they came and the breadcrumb trail they left you to follow in the ways. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again, y'all. See you next time. And now, share video. Hit